Big challenge for the Eagles, a big occasion for Port Adelaide after the amalgamation with the local club, so big day.
Port looking for their first win, West Coast, to put an end to a 9-game losing streak at Amy Stadium. Cox started inside the centre square with Nat Nui. Brown. Nice handball movement forward. They go to Shuey. He'll pump it inside 50 to an unguarded goal square inside 30 seconds. Wide of the mark, but the opening score. Promising build-up behind West Coast.
Sure, I was nearly out of the chair.
Yeah.
I'm there, I'm all over him. But good start. Centre clearances at Amy Stadium, and the wind is going left of screen, so very important for West Coast to get a good start.
Mark or free kick. It was Nat Nui. Didn't play last week. And can give a handball off to the veteran in Embley. He'll put it 30 metres out from goal. Dangerous ball for the Port Adelaide defenders. Brogan down in support. Carlisle with some good body work. Corns floats a handball to Thomas. Not a good handball. Safety of the boundary line.
Yeah, there's a little grey area. I don't think it was deliberate. Just wasn't a great handball. I think very fortunate that ball went over the line. Nick Nat-Nui was coming from about 20 metres for a crunching tackle if it was still in play.
Matt Thomas, 3 goals, 27 possessions last week against the Pies. 75-point loss. Selwood, Adam, round the corner. Never been knocked out when he had a chat with Liam Pickering. Lynchy, if we've learnt one thing, what's bound to happen?
Oh, I'd hate to say it. I'm sure the Selwood family are sitting at home quite concerned about it. Adam's comments pre-game.
Come on, boys.
He's been lucky.
Give him a go. It doesn't mean he's going to get knocked out, please.
No, it doesn't mean it, Pickers, but would you say it?
No.
Camped inside their defensive end. It'll come back with interest because that was a very poor kick out of bounds on the full.
You did see the way the wind grabbed that then, boys. It's not really a down the ground wind. It's pushing it to that side of the ground. More of a sort of a blustery crosswind, if you like, but certainly favouring to the left of screen.
Well, this is significant. This is almost anniversary type stuff back to the Brisbane Bears when they first come out. He had to jump over the fence and grab the ball. So,
wasn't born back then, Lynchy.
Oh, good on you. I was,
Cox,
well and truly.
He'll thump it up again. Top of the goal square. Brogan getting back like you'd like from your big tall defender, and Ruckman as well. Edge of the square, plenty of players around the ball. Not coming out. This will be interesting. Umpire Stephen Grun put the whistle away. Port desperate to get it forward of the centre line. Great chase down from Kennedy. Terrific.
Now, why is he paying a free kick there?
Well, did he get his foot to it? That's what the umpire's saying. You didn't get your foot to it.
I think he did. We saw a couple last week that were nowhere near as bad as that one.
Josh Kennedy, give credit for a big bloke to chase a player down like that.
But you can't give a free kick just for effort.
I know that. I know. I'm just saying it was a fair effort, though, to get in that situation.
It was. He deserves it, but mightn't quite be right. But it's a great chase for Josh Kennedy.
Well, without Mark LaCroix, you'd think that this man on screen right now needs to fill that void. He kicked 41 goals in 2010. This will be a nice start. Just a stuttering approach, kick on its way.
Beautiful
and it's
kick.
a goal. Eagles have got the opening goal of the match.
Well, I know that you might have made a mistake here the umpire, but it just hit the foot when the ball did drop down. But this is a great indication of how you're thinking and what you want to do here. No doubt it probably wasn't a free kick, but well done to Josh Kennedy. And then the finish like he did. That's why this man, I think, when Carlton traded him, he was in the Chris Judd trade. I think he's a loss. He's been fantastic for the West Coast Eagles. Brilliant last year. And with Mark LaCroix, probably the class acts of the West Coast Eagles side.
Josh Kennedy, 1 goal, very good start. One of those 1%ers that match committee's coaching staff love to see, and especially if it's from your 6'5" centre-half forward.
What about, boys? Travis Parks having a bit of a spell just in the rotations. Walked past and talking to one of the trainers and said it hit my something foot.
I think he agrees.
Yeah. 8-point lead kick to the Eagles. Promising start, Nat Nui with Cox. And the kick from Kasisi towards one of the favourites here at Port Adelaide. That is Chad Corns replacing Schultz. Kick around the corner. Stewart couldn't take it down low. The Eagles now under a bit of pressure inside their defensive end. And they'll have it thrown in.
That'll be an intriguing matchup. Chad Corns and Darren Glass, 2 stars of probably yesteryear, if you like, but still will have significant impacts on today's game.
Nat Nui loitering. Brogan. He's got his work in front of him today, Dean Brogan, up against Dean Cox and Nat Nui. Ball still alive. Nat Nui gets involved. So does the younger Selwood. You heard the call.
It's probably a half Nelson or a headlock at least. A little unlucky.
Just having a look back to yesterday, you would think, or last night, the umpires, they're pulling the ball in under, you take it on yourself, you take it at massive risk, the way that they were umpiring that last night.
Ben Cox has got the free kick on that occasion.
Stefan Grun, Justin Schmidt and Jacob Mollison, the umpires this afternoon. Dean Cox had his own issues, Lynchy, with cramps last week after half-time.
Well, it appeared that he'd run already about 15 k's halfway through the third quarter, and so he should cramp up. But certainly the extra support from Nick Naitanui today will be a great assistance.
Embley will bang it down the line. Naitanui had a good run at it, took it cleanly. Feeds a handball over to Kerr. Run down by Chaplin, good tackle. Logan, he'll send it forward again. Hurriedly, without too much thought. Glass takes it out in front of Corns. 8-point lead to the Eagles. Ted Corns' first game for 2011.
Just want to see the opposite sides of Naitanui, the athletic ability to get to that situation to mark the ball, but not having the football nous to know what's around him with a dangerous handball.
Natanui's gone down off the ball against Dean Brogan. Brogan's trying to really force his body into the opposition ruckman.
Coming up for his third disposal. He's been busy early. Kennedy deep over the top. Good score from O'Shea. Sharking the ball was Daniel Kerr. Like the look of that. He delivers it up towards Quinton Lynch. Goes to ground. Jack Darling. A little bit of inexperience there. Went to ground against the more experienced Chapman. And he's overcooked the kick, but fortunately, Port have the numbers. Stewart. Bogue. Westhoff. Can go if he wants. Roden inboard. And he opens it up. He darts around. Has two. Waters in pursuit. Shepherd as well. Unguarded goal square. Bouncing ball. Tracked the goal square. Deviated late. And that's Port Adelaide's opening score behind to David Roden.
Well, he did well. He had the patience to hold the ball. He couldn't just blaze away into the 50 and got it to a region where he backed himself to spear it through, but the bad bounce didn't work in his favour.
I wonder whether Lenny Hayes has a phone call conversation.
Oh, look at the kick here. What a shot.
Kick. Very poor kick from West Coast and Shepherd. I wonder whether or not Lenny Hayes will have a chat with David Roden about the Lars surgery.
I think it's a must.
Gray, chipping ball, nice kick. And that goes to Hitchcock.
It's a must if Lenny Hayes has his appointment with the surgeon tomorrow, and he's in that bracket of reconstructions that it can be a Lars reconstruction. It doesn't work for all ACLs, but hopefully for Lenny it does.
Port Adelaide's best first-year player last year decides to lower the vision.
Easy.
And spots up Robbie Gray. Talk us through that, Shory.
Well, you were thinking it would look like it was Prittis who had the job. Matty Prittis, Robbie Gray, but he shouldn't be playing on him, really. He's a forward. Something's messed up with the matchups there. But Prittis had to play in that spot, and maybe Gray's man could have been behind him. Just too easy to set up, what's that, nearly 30 out.
This is right goalpost, boys, with this wind.
23 2 days ago, Robbie Gray would like to celebrate it with a goal, and he does just that. He nails the goal. Port Adelaide's opening goal. We've got a 1-point ball game.
Yeah, nice call, Pickers. The wind is pretty strong in front of goals there. Have to go to the right-hand side and draw it back. Now have a look at this poor kick. Just wait, or not enough momentum going forward, and it's just shanked the kick off the inside of the foot. And here's the loose checking. Prittis was just relaxed. He was not used to playing defensive side and had no body against his direct opponent in Gray, and allowed him to have a free run into space. So probably two problems. Prittis had to put his body on, and midfielders had to get back into that space to block it up.
Re-signed with the club in June of last year. His first goal for the year, Robbie Gray.
That was shocking. That was a senior player who do not know the goal line's behind you. Play in front of your man and let him try and get round you.
Prittis goes to ground. Cox arrives over the top and just sits on Port Adelaide player.
Just one thing about David Roden, that run he had before. Can you remember David Roden kicking the ball straight away without trying to sell the dummy?
No.
Well, if you're playing on him, you know he's going to try and sell the dummy. Don't jump up in the air.
Cassisi into the path of Broadbent. Got it moving forward, not the distance. Westhoff spilled it. Cassisi again. Plenty of players around the ball. Cassisi, you've heard the call. Got to get rid of the ball. And Rosa gets involved. Dispossessed Broadbent. Prittis goes low.
Prittis did enough to get the ball out into space and drew the free kick.
Advantage rule, and that's determined by the player. You happy with that, Lynchy?
Yep, happy with that one.
Bit of confusion at times, but still, we'll go with it.
There was plenty of confusion last time.
Ball inside 50, over the top of Naitanui. Nikoski, dangerous.
I still think if you take one step when a player's come out of pressure and the pressure's around you, take one step. You're not aware even with one step. If you take 3 to 5, then you've played on and taken that. You know, sometimes it's hard. I think it's pretty hard on players at one step.
The whole advantage rule is a very difficult one, I think, to officiate with.
Good spoil by Thomas.
Good hand.
Squeezed a handball. Now Port can run through
chase
the
again. That's a free kick. Josh Kennedy again.
What about that time, Lynchy?
He missed the foot that time. Great chase, Josh Kennedy, and he's going to come up in the highlight tape Tuesday, no matter what happens in this game.
The coach would be chuffed with Josh Kennedy. Unload from outside
snag.
50. High ball, tracking to the goal line. Will it get there?
It's a goal.
No, it's not. Well done out of Paddy Carlisle.
Gee, I want to see a replay of that
Gee,
one.
Lynchy, you've called the free kick not a free kick. That one's all right.
Well, have
you
a
call
look
this a
at
goal.
that
That is
one.
great, isn't it?
Well, might have been a toe in that one too. What a good chase though. Might have been a little toe in that one. Have a look at this one. It's not as much toe. Oh, we'll give him the free kick. He deserves that. Good chase.
Doesn't it set a standard though?
No doubt.
When you see that, and consider the Western Bulldogs last week in a whole match had 1 tackle in their forward 50. Josh Kennedy's had 2 in the first 10 minutes.
He's 194 centimetres, so they probably get a bit of a, what can I say, allowance and not chase harder than they should.
You say our forwards never used to chase, sure.
I think that's what he's saying.
I'm trying to say it in a nice way.
And Josh Kennedy gets a well-earned rest. Pritis the free kick.
Well, Dean Cox in space. If they can get it over the top to him, just a little bit slow.
All players in the forward half of the ground for West Coast. Embley, another possession. Nat Nui will launch over the top. Well-weighted kick fortuitously in the end, but the mark's taken by Ebert.
Yeah, with the breeze, Ebert sat over the back, and there was another West Coast Eagles player there. All it needed is a contest to spill the ball over the back. In the end, the Port Adelaide defender misread the ball as it came through with a breeze, and good mark from Brad Ebert.
Well, former Port Adelaide Magpie, 21 today. And he gets his first goal of the afternoon.
Well, I don't think Matty Primus would be happy with the start from Port. Have a look at this now. You've got to make a contest. Someone has to get their hand in the ball and just go and try and spoil. For Brad Ebert to mark the ball like that, that is just unacceptable. Just not that one, but in the entirety of this game, I don't think there's enough pressure from Port Adelaide. I think they had to look at that third quarter against Collingwood, the intensity they got there, to emulate that today. I don't think Matty Primus would be happy with this start because of that fact.
Yeah, Brad Ebert, very handy goal. So just stretched the lead out to 8 points to West Coast. But yeah, defensive spoils are a key to a key defender, and certainly it wasn't executed on that occasion from the Port defence.
They haven't won here in their last 9 attempts, West Coast, and off to the perfect start, although that wasn't a perfect tackle.
Just went on with it for a little bit too long, Dean Cox, and got into the back of his opponent, Dean Brogan.
Big job, Dean Brogan. Nat Nui at various stages. Cox, Pittard, one of 3 debutants last week, pumps it inside 50. Gray couldn't take the ball. Plenty of numbers favouring the Eagles. Embley tried to get it to Pritis. Hearn arrives, takes possession. This could be trouble.
As you heard the umpire, he's trying to get it out. I think you've got to give something for the umpire to hang his hat on. If there's no effort, even if it's held under you, he's going to pay the free kick against you.
Cox, fingernail on it, and tried to follow up with a kick. Broadbent hurriedly to Westhoff, needed to be clean and was brilliant. Got it off, dished off a handball, cap off Travis Boat with a terrific finish. Deserved better from Justin Westhoff. Eventually Travis Boat.
Well, he took the ball so well, went to ground, but then jumped straight back up. And
have a look at this for recovery, and then the awareness, the look away handball. That's a bit of basketball there, I would think.
Nice mark by Embley.
Travis Boat was interesting, wasn't he, there? I mean, he had the opportunity to kick a drop punch.
Plenty of time, yep.
Shuey, they work the outer wing nicely to Lynch.
Well,
quick movement to Cox. Could have fed the handball forward to Rosa. Decides to go long. Nikoski lurking.
Good call, Swatter. There was another handball, and that would have allowed the West Coast forward to break the 50-metre arc and have a shot at goal. On that occasion, it was just a bit far out and ended up spilled across the line.
Inside 50s, 8-5 West Coast way. They lead by 8 points. This has been a problem for Port Adelaide, getting the ball clear of their half-back line. McGinnity did well. Hot ball. Kick was smothered off the boot of Brown. Thomas. And he can drive it up the middle of the ground. Roden, does he play on Tony Shaw?
Oh, well, he was thinking of it. He's got a man. Oh, he's too
well done, Darren Glass.
Should have sold the dummy.
Westhoff is free. They've got Trengo forward. He needed to be clean and he wasn't. opens the door up for Glass. Great closing pressure. Well done, Darren Glass. Trengove was free in his goal square, and unfortunately Westhoff couldn't get there.
That was great work. Darren Glass had 2 players to mark up turnover.
Fumble, numbers favouring Port. Irons, the game he played in his first one against the Pies, to Broadbent. 51 from home.
Just outside his range.
He's got Stewart, 1 out. Ignores that. Must rate his chances, Lynchy.
He's backed himself in. He knows his ground a little better than I, obviously. But he will be kicking into the teeth of what Breeze is there.
Only kicked 1 goal in his career.
He wants to get another one.
Could be a memorable second goal. It's a good-looking kick. It's on its way, but it's to the left-hand side. In fact, that's out of bounds.
Pickers, it's always hard to tell, but what sort of advantage have West Coast got in this quarter with the Breeze?
It's hard, with, as you say, with you talking sort of goals advantage, but probably a slight goal, maybe 2 goals at best, I reckon.
And that's a big fly. Terrific mark from Trengove. Deep leap. Got it nicely. Port forward again, but that's a poor kick.
I reckon that kick probably summed up. It is reasonably strong deep as you get deep towards the goals, but you know they're just playing a little bit better at the moment. It's what it is, West Coast.
Well, they are, because they've had 9 hit-outs to 0 so far, so you're going to win some clearances if you've got 9-0.
Good spoil from Chaplin, mopped up by Embley, keeps it alive. McCoskey's got some work to do, and he did it well. In fact, he did it outstandingly well. Puts a bouncing ball into the path of Darling, got some good leg speed, got some numbers, just needed to bend down. But a touch of the Alistair Lynch is about that at ground level.
She's harsh. But he couldn't get the wooden back over. Have a look at this grab from deep.
Jackson
Trengove, very good grab.
We've seen some almost a return to some of the big leaping marks in the first round and a bit.
Isn't it good? Because they'll kick long to the contest just to get a ball up or stop play outside 50.
Yeah, holding against Quentin Lynch there. The big fella.
Jackson Trengove. Terrific mark a few moments ago towards Westhoff.
Tell you what, Dean Cox is having a fantastic start to this game.
He is, and conversely, Dean Brogan's just got to lock on and keep Cox out of the contest somehow at the moment.
It's off the back of a best on-ground performance last week against the Kangaroos, Dean Cox. Darling.
They're using the ball well. He looks very good when he jumps for the ball. Jumps early, protects the ball with his body.
It's not a bad combination when you think about Kennedy and Darling together, Lynchy.
Yeah.
Another season or 2 underneath their belt. Poor kick. Broadbent.
Scotty Selwood just kicked that straight before Adelaide player.
And that's an equally poor kick.
Here.
Glass. Needs a handball off to Brown. He'll thump it long with no great thought at all.
No, that was a poor kick as well. We saw 3 turnovers, just poor options and poor execution.
They might have to swap jumpers at quarter time.
Corns, Logan, Stewart, Paul, risky kick, still a dangerous ball for the Eagles. Can they capitalise? Kane Corns.
Good defensive pressure from the Eagles again. Trouble.
Ball not coming out. Wait. Gone.
Yeah. Absolute trouble now. And there's no doubt the West Coast Eagles player was putting all his weight on Tommy Logan, not allowing the ball to come out. It's a very difficult situation, but once you dive on the ball, you're in all sorts of strife. Not that he dived on it.
Come on.
Been held in there.
I think this is nearly could be the rule of the week or weekend. Well, last night it was just dominant. I don't mind if they stay consistent, but you tell me once he was tackled, how you cannot even try and get your hands. All you've got to show is you're trying to get it out. Yeah. His hands couldn't move.
Brett Ebert got one. Faded late. That would have been a handy goal.
Would have been.
What are the...
I don't mind if you scoop the ball in. Now, you tell me how he could get his hands out to even try and get rid of that ball.
He can't, sure.
Yeah, well, that's the rule in itself.
Does that answer the question?
I'm not going to argue with you.
He cannot.
He cannot. Carlisle with the duties. Westhoff and Brogan spoiled each other. And an important free kick.
They're struggling to get any run out of their back half at the moment, Port Adelaide. Just the delivery to their forward targets is not good.
And that wasn't good either.
No.
Intended for Westhoff. So they put someone like a David Roden behind the ball, Lynchy, to get some of that run and carry.
It may be something that the loose man defence didn't work for Port Adelaide last week, but with this wind in their face, it might be an idea to get someone back, someone like Roden can run and carry the ball, take his 1 or 2 bounces and set up a forward thrust.
Pearce doesn't see much of it. Shuey, great interception, cuts back inboard, slicing run, got it to Selwood. He does the same. Left foot kick's not bad to Kennedy. He's been influential. He's got Nikoski. He's got Darling. Darling has to wait, needs to show his body strength and does.
Strong.
I tell you what, you said he's got a wooden back and can't bend over, but how classy was that? A kid playing his second game. He knew exactly where the ball was going to drop, protected the drop zone by just a little nudge, not giving a free kick away, and more importantly, didn't use his hands. And that was a fantastic mark.
That's a bit of a clone of Quinton Lynch as a youngster, doesn't he? I hope he can do it better below his knee. As you said, he doesn't do it well at the early stages. He's got to work on that. Debuted
with Andrew Gaff last week, 2 goals. Taken with pick number 26 in last year's draft, and he's got his first goal, and the Eagles have got 3.
Impressive start, and I think it's been all built around the defensive pressure of the forwards. And once again here, numbers around the contest when Port Adelaide had the ball for the West Coast, and enough pressure to cause the spillage, and good use here. Josh Kennedy's proven to be a handful across half forward, and this is a good kick. It's not a great kick, but look at this mark. Use the body, bang, out of the road, and just a little touch from his direct opponent. That is a very good mark from Jack Darling, and I think there's plenty to like about this young kid for the Eagles supporters.
1 goal this afternoon, 2 goals and 11 possessions against the Kangaroos in his first game of football.
I think Port are a bit worried at the moment, chaps. They've got 2 loose players behind play. They're worried about what's happening here, the dominance.
Not Cox, it's Nat Nui and Kerr involved.
I think Nat Nui, he just missed that one. He was expecting body contact, but no one came.
Embley, the leading possession winner on the ground with 7. Broadbent for Port Adelaide with 5. Kane Corns to his brother Chet. They've done that a few times in the backyard. Numbers back for West Coast. Corns will need to be good with the kick. It's a high ball. Roden, foot of the pack. Nat Nui, a big lead, couldn't take it. Kasisi needs a captain's goal. It bounces through the legs. It bounces for a goal.
Did they do the captain's goal? They needed it right then. Well done to Dom Kasisi, but that was against the flow of play. And a little bit of luck with the bounce of this ball. Westhoff gets to the front. Nat Nui maybe just nearly grabbed it enough. And we can just see here it goes through about 3 players, and Andrew Embley just a desperate dive at the end. But gee, that was totally against the flow of this game, and they did, as I said, need that captain's goal. I still think that Matty Primus would not be happy with how they've started this game with their intensity.
Gets the job done on the scoreboard, goes back to the middle and issues instructions, as you'd expect your captain to do. He led the competition in hardball gets last year and 3rd in tackles behind Andrew Swallow and Lenny Hayes. And that Lenny Hayes is looking at a long stint on the boundary line off last night's injury. Terrible news. West Coast go forward. McGinnity in the direction of Quinton Lynch. Carlisle, safety first.
You mentioned what Port Adelaide need. They need to get Daniel Pearce into the game. McGinnity's doing a really good job on him. He's just had 1 handball, which was ineffective, Daniel Pearce. So he's one of those running players you talked about a little bit earlier.
Yeah.
They need to get into the game.
Well, Daniel's got to change his game. He's got to try and win some of his own ball too, Pickers. You just cannot get it thrown at you every time.
Well, they're a lot easier to tag if they don't win their own footy, mate.
Exactly.
Selwood squeezes the ball to Darling once again, but that stoppage play was a bit too easy.
Yeah, and it has been. They're very good in tight at the moment, the West Coast Eagles, and then used to inside 50. He's been very good. He's a handful if he slots this one as well. He's taken 3 marks. Once again, like Kennedy, his defensive pressure's been quite good in this first term. And this should just sail just a tad left to right.
Got dropped for a game in the NAB Cup. Turned up 30 seconds late for a team meeting. Might have a couple of rough edges, but what he's done so far has been impressive. Can he kick his second goal? You better believe it. No. It's good off the boot.
Pulled that one a little bit far left. Indication of how the stoppages are going for West Coast. They're leading hit-outs 12-1 at the moment.
Just that thing with Daniel Pearce. Liam's picked it up right, and he used to tag. If they do 3 things, you link up, you get one out the back, and you go and get your own ball, the hardest person to tag. If you don't go and get your own ball, very easy to zone off you and stop the angles.
Another poor kick, though, from Jasper Pittard, marked easily by Nat Nui.
Just blazing away off half-back at the moment, Port.
Comes back with interest. High ball. Carlisle with a big spoil, still alive. Kasisi continues to work hard for his team. They need a spark. Prittis, handball to Selwood. Back to Pritis. They work it free. Quinton Lynch goes to ground. Boot to ball. Port Adelaide supporters want ball. Not coming. Pritis arrives, went without the ball. Good tackle by Shuey. In fact, it's Adam Selwood. We'll have it bounced.
Well, at least Port Adelaide were putting tackling pressure on that occasion. Good use of hands from the West Coast players, but just couldn't find any space.
10-point lead to West Coast. Great start. One here in 9 attempts. Carlisle got rid of Pritis. Can't get rid of Kennedy.
The experienced
Alipati Carlisle too.
defender.
I think just below the knees. Not great either. So
well, that was experience though. He didn't want to pick that up.
Line,
he wanted to find that boundary line. There's no doubt about that one.
You have to watch that though this year because the umpires are looking at that a lot more intensely.
Nat Nui and Brogan lock arms. McCoskey a swipe. Broadbent hurriedly. For the moment they relieve pressure. Brown has a run at it, couldn't take the mark. West Coast will reload again. Embley. It's another dangerous ball. 30 metres out from goal. Ebert's got some work. Darley arrives late. Good gather. But he was gathered in a good tackle by Stewart. Dispossessed it. Did well, Paul Stewart. Got it to Cassisi. Stewart continues to run. It's camped inside Port Adelaide's defensive end of the ground. Embley couldn't take the mark, but was taken high.
Free kick. Went back with the fly of the ball well.
This is about having time in your forward 50.
Pritis again, another ball in the direction of Kennedy, dropping the mark with Stewart. He's got some time. No, that's before Nikoski kept it alive. Kennedy tries to wheel out the back of the pack. Selwood dropped the shoulder. We've seen that before from his brother. He knew the situation and summed it up well.
Dropped low, got the tackle across the left shoulder. As you see here, and that was generally across the shoulder anyway. Cassisi's been leading from the front for Port Adelaide with the tackling pressure around the stoppages, but on that occasion, just a little high.
Great to see the West Coast. What they've done is the more times you keep it inside your forward 50, the pressure builds. It doesn't matter if you kick points. Sooner or later, you're going to score. At the moment, Port Adelaide cannot get the ball out of their defensive 50, and it just comes straight back in.
Didn't kick a goal in 2010. I'd like to do it, the 26-year-old.
Got to kick.
Swatter's just put the absolute mocker on him. It hasn't kicked a goal last season.
I've marked it in my book. There's an error.
You've put it in. No, not good. Sure, you're right. It puts a lot of pressure on, but you've got to convert those opportunities because if Port Adelaide go in at status quo now, just 11 points down.
Look at this now. Look, they're just under enormous pressure to kick the ball long. Big torp on the run.
From O'Shea towards Cox. Sharking the ground ball was Thomas. Beats a handball, hoping to get a nice bounce in front of Broadbent. He attacked it, but he couldn't keep possession. Embley has been very busy. Possession number 12.
On play.
Free kick. West Coast.
Oh, still going on behind play. A little bit happening.
Chad Coons, there's a surprise.
No, it's an Eagles free kick, so it's against Chad Coons, I would think.
The problem is, when they're coming off halfback Port Adelaide, they've got so many numbers behind the ball at the moment. There's no players to kick to, so they're outnumbered at the contest when they go long.
Conversely, West Coast have numbers forward of the ball. Rosa squeezes a kick, gets it through. It's set up.
Good spoil.
Very good spoil. Westhoff started forward. He's in defence. To Gray. Sped it before he had it. Looks up. Hitchcock started on the bench. And Thomas works. No, it's Logan. Good kick to Irons. Debuted last week against the Pies. Kicked 2 in the third. Can he kick 1 in the first? Tight pocket. Works back across the face of goal.
Still in play.
Stays in. Stuart Daniels got to go. Embley will get there first. He's got support. He just needs to pick it up and he can't.
Oh, in the back.
Yeah. Embley just trying to get a knock on to knock it up towards, I think it was Hearn. But in the end, he got the push in the back.
I think Port Adelaide need a forward structure at the moment. I'm with you. Too many players behind the ball. Yeah. Every time they look up, they've got to kick it in the space and run onto the ball.
Ball still alive. Brogan flipped it out to Thomas. To Corns. Now needs to be good with the kick. He's got a couple free. Irons, Gray arriving like Waters.
Yeah, that's a good spoil.
Gray gets involved. Normally a class finisher. Fires a handball to Chad Corns. Can the veteran do something for Port Adelaide? Bouncing ball, no. In fact, that was lucky to score in the end.
Big off break.
Shane want to be happy with that.
He would have been.
I don't think it was a wrong one myself.
No, big, massive wrong one then. Andrew Embley, 12 disposals. He's putting on a clinic out there on the wing at the moment. We spoke earlier how important he will be if West Coast Eagles are going to win this game today.
10 scoring shots to 5. It's a 10-point lead to West Coast.
Well, that's not just rewards for the effort that West Coast have put in.
Hearn just toe-poked it. Poor kick. Gray gets involved to Pittard. Standing start.
Deep.
To the goal square. Irons got the fly. Couldn't take the possession. Rosa Just hurriedly handballed it towards Brown, intelligently to the path of Waters. Hearn, no left foot kick.
Good pick-up, Swatter. No left foot kick, all right. Tried to kick across his body to turn it around the boundary line.
Stewart, Paul. For Corns, got up, may have lost it in the sun. Back of the pack, Irons has another go. Kerr coming the other way. And it's still alive. Boat, Port Adelaide players down Irons. It's still alive, bouncing ball. It's not now. Quarter time here at Amy Stadium. West Coast, an impressive opening quarter. Haven't won in 9 attempts. But that'll please John Worsfold, the Eagles. 3-7-25 to the home team, Port Adelaide. 2 goals, 3-15 on a beautiful day for football. Round 2 continues at Amy Stadium.
Might be Farrell.
Another chance not to have hair in 3 years like you, Swatter. Gee, it's a long time, 3 years. I just like to see him be competitive right now.
And they've got their chance. Brogan cleanly to Cassisi. Puts it towards Stewart. Daniel couldn't take it. Brown. The West Coast variety to Waters. Goes out wide to Rosa. Did well to control it.
Good mark. Wasn't the greatest kick out in front of Rosa, but pulled it in with the right claw.
Still think that the conditions they played in against the Kangaroos last week, 37 degrees and 2 men down after half-time, will play a factor later on in the game.
Yeah,
High ball,
so.
Chaplin, scored by Brogan. He may have taken a hit to the head, Dean Brogan.
He's got a nasty whack, actually. Heavy contest. He's starting to get to his feet now, a bit dazed.
A little bit of friendly fire, perhaps, for Dean Brogan.
Big pack formed.
Tough day at the office. Dean Cox and Nick Naitanui.
And he's got both of them right now.
Naitanui going to go over the top if he can. Here he is.
Paul Stewart did well to block the run of Naitanui. Shuey with the run. Gathers the ball. Gets around Logan a little bit too easily. Puts it onto the left boot. A dangerous spot. Quentin Lynch thought about taking the mark. Port Adelaide under enormous pressure deep. It's alive. Kennedy. He's been brilliant in the first quarter, and he continues it in the second.
Yeah.
Well, it wasn't good. Wasn't good from Port Adelaide yet. Missed tackles. They had numbers around the contest, but conversely, the West Coast Eagles managed to push the ball forward. They've got a good setup with Dean Cox and Nick Naitanui working together. Just had to do better here, the Port defenders. Get the ball out, or at least get the ball over the boundary line. But to have the ball dribbling around 5 or 6 metres out, straight out in front of goal, just allow a very easy goal from Josh Kennedy. He's been really good today, Kennedy.
Yeah, as you pointed out, Lynch, he's been very good. 2 goals. He's been good defensively when he's been required to. And in the absence of Mark Lacroix, it's a good start, Shuey.
Yeah, look, Luke Shuey had to be tackled on that 50-metre arc, and a great kick to put it to the top of the square, not on the goal line.
Here he goes.
Naitanui hunting the ball like a small midfielder. Dangerous, but couldn't get it cleanly. The men that Liam Pickering talked about, Daniel Pearce gets involved. That's a better kick. Can Hitchcock do the same? In the direction of Stewart, high ball, Glass with experience. Just got Renal turn with the younger, more inexperienced player. Just showed all his class there, Shorey.
I tell you what, Travis Boak would be filthy then on Hitchcock, who he had a handball over the top and he kicked to a one-on-one. I don't mind the one-on-one, but gee, that was a run in the goal from about 30 metres out.
Embley with his 13th possession. Spills free to Waters. To Kerr. Some would say fortunate to be playing today after not being sighted in the waffle. Kennedy attacked it, almost took it cleanly.
Well done.
Rosa in support, dangerous again for Port Adelaide. Prittis to Kerr, good tackle by Broadbent, spills it free to half forward. Shuey wrapped up.
What's the difference with that one, Alistair, about getting tackled? Because there was 2 blokes tackling?
I think they felt he didn't have an opportunity to get it out. I think Kerr's was a free kick for incorrect disposal. Tries to get around.
Yep.
Didn't get an effective disposal out, so free kick from home.
Prittis absorbed the tackle of Logan. With the call, a lot of players around the ball. There you go. They're involved. And they'll stay involved.
I think Daniel Kerr has got to get used to now that this game, players have got even stronger than when he used to barge through tackles and that. He's done it twice in this game so far. Maybe get the ball on your boot a bit quicker. Might take him a couple of weeks to get used to that.
Cox to Naitanui, tantalising prospect with the development. Nick Naitanui is a ruck rover. Selwood, Adam, Rosa. They'll thump it long again. Big Quentin Lynch, manhandled by Carlisle.
Yeah, and that's a very nerve-wracking experience as a full-back when your big forward's got front position and you think, I haven't got the strength to move him legally, so he's wrapped the arms around and tried to throw the cue stick out of the road. and that's a free kick.
When you are like that, what do you do in order to be competitive in the contest?
Well, you've got to get back off the 3 metres if you can read the ball quickly and jump into it. You don't want to get locked down with a big, strong player like Lynch at full forward.
Two behinds last week. He's got his first for the afternoon. The West Coast Eagles, big cue stick. They've got 5.
I'll tell you what, picked up from where they left off. And this is some real concern, Shorey, I think, for Port Adelaide. You see this situation here, you're locked into a wrestle. Now, it's all about where the kick's going to go and the drop zone. He didn't need to actually give a free kick away. He had support coming back. So Carlisle didn't read the play really well. He had a third-up jumper who was going to come in and at least spoil Quinton Lynch.
They're getting killed in contested possessions, 41-32. That's the area. They're breaking away too easily from the contest.
They're doing it nicely, the Eagles. Quinton Lynch, an indifferent year last year. He played 14 games but was offered a new contract. First goal of the afternoon for Quinton Lynch, 22-point lead to the Eagles.
Nat Nui in the square by himself. They've cleared out the forward 50 and left it up to him.
Brogan got it to Gray. He went to ground. Thomas dispossessed without it. Bronx cheers for the umpires.
Need some efficiency going forward with this inside 50.
And that is a quick kick hurriedly without any great thought. Once again, Hearn with the flight of it.
Yeah, Swatter, now we've seen that twice now. The last one Hearn took as well. They're just terrible kicks, just not to the advantage of the forward. So it's near impossible for the forward to take the mark.
And Shannon Hearn, that's his second one out of full.
That's a shocker as well.
This is the same problem that Port Adelaide had with Collingwood in the second quarter last week. Pickers, sorry.
Pause, I had a chat with Matty Price, obviously, at quarter time, and said about the amount of times they can score when they've gone in West Coast. Well, this quarter they've been in twice for 2 goals.
Mark here.
And they needed someone to put his hand up. He put 2 up and took the mark. Chad Corns will have a shot at goal.
Well, this is extremely important that Chad Corns, he's taken a very good contested mark in that situation. They're struggling going forward. They just need a steadying goal because you just fear, I mean, it's a big thing to say this early, but West Coast could blow this game apart if they don't convert this opportunity. Port Adelaide.
The win right behind his back, I would think. He'd be going towards that pocket. Liam know better than anybody, but it looks that way.
Big year for Chad Corns. Didn't play round 1, replaces Jay Schultz, needs the kick to go, and he expected eventually to step up and do that, and he delivered magnificently.
Well, he's been a great player for this club over many years, and this is not his stock standard position up forward, but he's come back into the side now. Massive players, and once again, a number of Port Adelaide players didn't read it well, and their direct opponents from West Coast were under the ball as well. But Chad Corns, good read, took a almost an uncontested mark in the end.
Who was on him? That's the thing, because Cox was following him up and Brogan was behind him, so someone was way out of that contest then.
Yeah, bad miss for the Eagles.
31-year-old kicks his first goal for the afternoon. 166 in his illustrious career. 231 games, 2-time All-Australian and a 2004 Premiership player.
I think it's Browns on Corns.
It's the voice of the 1990 Premiership captain, Tony Shaw, with Alistair Lynch, Liam Pickering and Wayne Swats. Roden. The start indicate a couple of important clearances now. Delivery from Roden, not good to Stewart. Hearn will get there. There was a poor attempt at a tackle from Stewart as well. Hearn involved again. Shuey wanted the tackle.
Gee, he was lucky there. He ducked in, did it smart. He knew he was going to be tackled.
He did. He braced for the tackle, accepted the tackle, just a little higher, and that's a 50-metre penalty.
Which hurts because there was a little bit of momentum we poured out the last minute and a half, Shorey.
Oh, that's against Daniel Pearce. Undisciplined, and again, if you're not having an impact on the game, Daniel Pearce, you've got to be disciplined, and as I said, you've got to go and win your own ball.
Here's the 50-metre penalty. Just knocked out of his hand on that occasion.
Had a very good game last week against the Kangaroos, Luke Shuey. 20 possessions and a goal, taken with pick number 18, the 2008 National Draft. The kick from just inside 50. Can he finish? I think he can.
No, he can't.
For a behind.
He just didn't quite get that. That was out on the end of his foot, right off the toe. And he carried about the 45 metres.
Beautiful conditions for a game of football. Trengove had to wait, arriving late was Schofield. Kennedy involved again.
Gee, it's a dangerous kick in. I don't mind it going up the middle, but even try and tap the ball on. I think you've got to try and also get another 10 metres, play onto yourself and block the man on the mark. At least it gets it another 10 metres out of the scoring zone.
Jacob Mollison gets it underway again. Logan, shut down by Embley, came away. He's gang tackled by Gray, Roden. Thomas wants holding the ball. What sort of pass mark does John Worsfold need, Shorey, given that the board have said we need to see significant improvement for you to be offered another contract?
Oh, look, I don't think they're going to make finals, so at least 3 to 4 games more than what they won last year.
So that's 7 or 8.
Yeah, well, maybe more. I think he's the one person who's under a bit of pressure. We've got another Stacks on the mill here.
I think you've got to look as though you're going to contend late in the season for a final 8 spot.
And improvement from each individual.
4 wins, 18 losses last year, collecting their first wooden spoon, the West Coast Eagles. Their last 4 years, 5th, 15th, 11th and 16th since winning the 06 flag.
Anybody here picked them to play finals?
Nope.
No. Advantage play. Good call, Rosa. Can he cap it off? Kick is good.
Dean Brogan's absolutely filthy. He just felt that he was thrown out of that ruck contest and should have got the free kick, but you can't get away from the fact they've been smashed in the clearances. See here, Dean Cox and Brogan, they're both wrestling in this situation. There's a push there, a little throw around, but look, it goes on at every contest, and you just got to be strong in that contest. The big thing was there were West Coast players at ground level that were by themselves with no body pressure on them. Too easy.
The other thing probably is a good lesson with this new advantage rule determined by the player. Don't play for the whistle.
No.
Continue to play until they call it back.
Well, out of that ruck contest, I would think Dean Brogan was the one infringed on, but the umpires called that other way, that he was holding on to Dean Cox. So anyway, it plays on.
And he's smashed in on that occasion. Dean Brogan, he wants a piece of this.
Game high 23-point lead. Assisi. The last goal of the opening quarter to Brogan.
That's what he's got to do, get forward of Cox.
And he'll bang it forward in the hope of a mark. He doesn't need a marker. He just needs an open goal square.
I think he had a little word to the umpire as well. But at least he got that one back. That was good work. Don't know whether he got his hands in the contest, the ruck contest, but he certainly smashed his body in. Good work deep here. There's a Shepherd put off the ball. Good block.
Yeah,
don't know who that was on the line, but there's very handy bit of work.
Hitchcock.
And Hitchcock, that's his goal. Good work from Brogan, but Hitchcock on the line. Bit of body pressure for a small player just to allow the ball to dribble through for a much-needed goal for Port Adelaide.
Dean Brogan trying to spark his side now. His first goal of the afternoon.
He plays with plenty of passion, does Dean Brogan. And we expect him to be doing the same thing. He'll be trying to jump into Nat Nui. Oh, he's taking his legs. Yeah, it is a block. He's not going to get it.
Now, Dean Brogan ran straight at Nat Nui.
Yeah, that's wrong.
And they go forward again. Port Adelaide haven't kicked back-to-back goals so far this afternoon. They won't do on this occasion. Schofield, nice one.
You're right, Shorey. We knew exactly what Dean Brogan was going to do. He was going to take the jump of Nick Nat Nui out, and he did. He basically took his legs from under him.
We're on the wrong planet.
Nat Nui's back on the planet with possession. Feed a handball inboard to McGinnity. Couldn't find a target. Irons dispossessed. Can go again. Did well. Tapped it out to Broadbent. Middle of Amy Stadium. They'd love to get back-to-back goals. Port Adelaide. They want ball.
He's loading.
Irons just showed him how to deliver the instruction.
Sure, he's out of the chair. Not happy.
And Kane Corns again. His brother's there. Gray's there as well. Where's Kane? Needs to tap into his path. He can't get it. Waters to the boundary line. Bobbles around out of bounds.
It is a tough one when the ball gets stuck under your legs and you cannot get anywhere near it. Players are well drilled these days.
One thing about Port, they look like they've now hold on. Now he's pulled it in. I don't mind that. Now is he faking it?
No, it's held under him.
Gee, it's held under in between. I think he was faking it a little bit anyway.
Port with numbers. Gray on his all fours, just off the ball there, about 10 metres in from the boundary line.
Keeping an eye here on Dominic Cassisi. He's out in the ground. He's been having trouble with his knee for most of the game. Been on and off. He's had it strapped a couple of times. I'm not sure what's going on, but he's trying to do a job on Rosa.
The voice of 124 gamer, Liam Pickering. Embley, hands and knees. Umpire Mollison just waiting off the play. Kerr, what can he do? Insert some magic? No, great tackle. Dispossessed. That was Boat. It comes out to Kane Corns, hurriedly, fires it back. Waters with courage, didn't know what was coming. Great play, ball still alive, top of the goal square, kick, quick kick. Goal! Robbie Gray.
Oh, fantastic goal.
They have lifted. They have no doubt intensity at the ball has lifted.
Should have got a free kick with the Daniel Kerr incorrect disposal as well. Look at the massive players, just worked hard. That's a very good goal in congestion. They needed it. Their last 5 minutes, I think they've certainly picked up since Dean Brogan smashed him at those ruck contests and generated his own goal.
Now Westhoff and Brown are at it near the interchange bench, and the umpires come out to them.
They've kicked the last 2 goals of the game. Port Adelaide, 3 of the last 4. It got out to 23 points off the back of Rose's first at the 10-minute mark of this second quarter, but it's an 11-point lead to West Coast. Westhoff is off. Nat Nui in the ruck. Look at the leap. Pearce just starting to win the important clearances from the bounce down. Chaplin, good spreading from Stewart. Got the kick away, but good pressure again from McGinnity. Hearn, nice pick up at ground level. Got the kick to Shepherd. No, it's Ebert. Tried to feed a handball on. Perhaps not the best option, Shorey. Kerr will go hard. Gathered it cleanly. Backed himself in. Got the tackle from Corns. Got it away. McGinnity, it's hot potato. And they forced the turnover. They have definitely lifted the intensity, Port. Bouncing ball. Brown attacked it. Did well. Couldn't take it cleanly. Goes again, Brown. Good composure. Nice composure from Waters. And for the moment, West Coast away.
They'll score a goal here if they've got numbers out the flank. It'll get right up to the cue stick.
Yep. He's probably thinking, I'm in range here.
He's got Cox on the goal square.
And he does go in the direction of Jack Darling. Had a good run at it. Couldn't take it. Now Port Adelaide with a little bit of confidence up towards Stewart. Prentice couldn't get there. Stewart, nice grab. Looks up, got no one. So he puts it up to Boat. Too much carry on the kick and nice mark from Selwood.
Well, they didn't work their way through that last forward 50 entry very good at all at West Coast. They had a number of spare players, took the wrong option.
Shepherd towards Rosa. Did well. Thought there was an arm chop. Umpire didn't.
Travis Boat has had 5 possessions. Selwood's had the job on him, doing a great job at the moment.
And the substitutes this afternoon, Jason Davenport comes in for Stephen Salopek, who twinged a hamstring during the week. And Andrew Gaff, second week in a row, he's the substitute for the Eagles. Port Adelaide getting a few important possessions. Stewart couldn't get a hand on the ball. Waters could. Kerr's been busy. Schofield fired the handball to Prentice. Another one. Shuey, terrific. Under pressure. Schofield pushes on. Handball's down the line. Darling attacked it. Got bumped by Schofield.
He's starting to get involved, Daniel Kerr, but I've never seen him get tackled so much, actually. He's just trying to pick up the speed of the game. Hasn't played a lot of football over the last 12 months. Just being caught at the moment.
Port Adelaide with the last 2. Back of the pack, Prentice. High ball. Cox with the height advantage. Couldn't take it down with him.
High contact.
There were Brogan struggling behind play. He went to ground there. Nat Nui just pushed him aside.
It's a big job for him, though, sure. He's got Nat Nui and Cox. Port Adelaide with possession. Kane Corns. What a wonderful player. 172 consecutive games. Prentice, another possession. Desperate smother. Hiddard. Onto his opposite side. Up towards Hitchcock. Got rid of Shepherd. Now it's a foot race. Cameron Hitchcock could have a bounce. Decides to go low with a nice ball. Good kick to Gray. Fumbles it, but takes it.
It was good work from Robbie Gray. He led forward, stopped, doubled back towards the goal square just to put these direct opponent in 2 minds, and doubled back again. And he was honoured by a very good pass from Hitchcock. And that nice bit of forward leading. They've certainly picked up in the last 5 to 10 minutes, Port Adelaide.
The last goal, kick, the last 2, 3 of the last 4. Can it be 4 of the last 5 from Robbie Gray? Normally a very good finisher. The crowd like it off the boot. Robbie likes it off the boot. Port Adelaide like it. And they've got 6.
He's the go-to man at the moment, Robbie Gray. 3 goals. He's taken too much inside 50, so he has been the deep target. We know he's a very talented player. Love the play of Hitchcock here because he knew Robbie Gray was going back to the centre corridor after that double lead. I think Hitchcock's a player who just ignites his side at times. He can do the unusual at times, and he can do the spectacular. So good finish there. And as I said, Robbie Gray, the go-to player, class act.
5-point ball game off the back of Port Adelaide's last 3 consecutive goals. 4 of the last 5. Robbie Gray, as Tony Shaw said, 3 goals this afternoon. Got out to a 23-point lead. 10-minute mark of this second quarter, but Port have got themselves back in the contest. McGinnity got it moving forward. Cox now in the ruck. Feels sorry for Dean Brogan, but that's the task in front of him. Good handball by Ebert. Found the runner in Embley. He'll hoik it around the corner. West Coast with numbers. Kennedy floating back, couldn't take it. Nat Nui absorbed the tackle, dropped the shoulders. Was that high? Not according to the umpire. Tredengrove shoveled the handball out towards Kane Corns. He can't keep it in.
Gee, I like to see that. Player ducks his head at the contest. What can you do when you tackle here? Oh, was that? Oh, it was around his neck. Nat Nui should have goal, but then you could see the West Coast Eagles player go down. The Selwood brothers love doing that. But I thought that was well played by the umpire then.
This is a more desperate Port Adelaide side in this second quarter.
Well adjudicated.
Prentice goes to ground. They sit on top of him. Could be King.
There we go.
What is the option as a player, though, Lynchy, if you've got 3 opposition players on top of you?
Well, you haven't got a lot. But all the umpires ask, just show me you're trying to get it out. Now, it's almost impossible for Prentice to actually find the ball, let alone try to hit it out.
Prentice may get involved again. He'll put it onto the boot. Dangerous ball. Tredengrove went without it. Coming hard the other way was Kerr. Forced the spoil. Logan put his head over the ball.
Tommy Logan.
Desperate stuff and wins a free kick.
Ever since he came into the AFL, Tom Logan, up at the Brisbane Lions, this is one thing he does do. He puts his head over the ball, and he can get split open too, Tommy. He's always going to put his head in that sort of area where he's going to cop some damage. Good work, and that's indicative of Port Adelaide over the last 10 minutes. They've work rate at contested balls has been much better.
On the holding the ball thing, if players bring it in, and we know there's a blanket rule, doesn't matter if people hold it in or they're on top of you, they don't give a free kick away originally. If that's the blanket rule, give it holding the ball all the time, not when someone's holding it in or you guess 50-50. If we have that, no one will hold the ball, no one will pull it in very often, they'll keep tapping the ball on, but we have got that variation at times.
Pearce with Logan off. Driving ball up towards the outer wing. A foot race.
Oh, the Giants.
Brogan and Cox. Cox wins out. Brogan wins the battle in the end because it goes out of bounds.
I don't think there's any gold medals in the 100-metre sprint between those two.
Might just check in boundary side with Liam Pickering. An update on Tom Logan.
Have a look at this, boys. Have a look at this.
Got a little bit of clarity. I'm just watching a couple of big dinosaurs going out there on the monitor. I'll tell you who has lifted, boys. I asked for the quarter time. Just one touch in the first quarter. Daniel Pearce. He's had 5 in this second quarter, and he's having an impact.
Brogan.
He saw Dean Brogan.
Here we go again, chaps. This is brilliant. Well, consistency. I don't mind umpires. You keep it at this level, and we're all happy.
Rosa from Cox to Brown. Another handball. Dangerous. Chad Corns read it, intercepted it, got it to Thomas. Big tackle. It's a bouncing ball. Cassisi taken high. Love to get another one. The Port Adelaide club, 39-44. First time in the history of Port Adelaide Magpies and Port Adelaide at AFL have merged. 140 years of history. And Boat was dispossessed. So was Brown. Coming through Hitchcock. Just throws the ball between his legs. Tunnel ball towards Chad Corns. Couldn't take the mark. Shuey. Did well. Advantage it should be. And Waters, vice captain.
Lynch up in by himself.
Works hard.
Didn't meet it to target.
Chaplin. Quick Lynch did well on the second attempt. Kennedy in support. Hearn the runner. Can put a kick towards Nat Nui. He's got one man forward of the ball. That's Darling. Out wide is Cox. Hearn can think about having a shot and will load up. Carlisle got a fingernail on it. Fortuitously, Nikoski nails the goal.
That's
a steadier.
Well, they tried everything to turn that one over, the West Coast Eagles, but in the end they found a way to get the ball to Nikoski, and nice finish. Nick Nat Nui, he's just got to present at the ball a little bit harder. He's just got to go at that one, and this is fortuitous, but nice finish on the run from 25 metres. And just what the West Coast Eagles needed, because Port Adelaide are absolutely coming on the scoreboard, and the intensity has been much better.
Steadying goal from Mark Nikoski, 2-5 last week against the Kangaroos. 1 this afternoon, a handy 11-point lead.
Just Nick Nui then, he didn't come on the ball carrier hard, but he was there. The other thing, his handball, I think he telegraphed where the ball was going to go back into the corridor with that handball. put Hearn under a lot of pressure.
Shuey sharks it. Put it towards Kennedy. He's got 3 to beat. He's never going to win the contest. Trengove. Paul Stewart, not a good handball. Set Chaplin up. Pritis arrived late. Read it well. Kennedy will go. Good desperation by Stewart. Paul. Trengove to Daniel Pearce, the man that Liam Pickering spoke about. Been involved now. Quinton Lynch to Pritis again. Brown. Another high ball. Camped underneath it. Embley takes the mark.
He's had his own wing and his own ball.
Yeah, well, he hasn't had an opponent. That's what he hasn't had. And he's had 16 disposals coming up for 17 now. And he's moving very well.
It's a good point you make, Lynchy, because there are a lot of players around the contest. Andrew Embley used his experience and sagged off the back of the pack.
And Cassisi still having some dramas there.
Norm Smith medalist, premiership player from 06. 45 out, lines up, kick's not good.
Now, this is going to take its toll on the West Coast Eagles. They've had now 16 shots to 9 and only lead by the 12 points. They must convert these opportunities.
16 scoring shots. They could have had this game nicely in their handle at the moment.
Just looking for options now. No one free.
Trengove the target from the Carlisle kick. Lynch was good in front. Arriving late was Cassisi. Kerr.
Oh, good hands.
Just knew what he was doing. Absorbed the tackle. Got it to Pritis. Down low. Rosa tries to squeeze it to Nat Nui. Some magic tight on the boundary line. Can't do it. Thomas might have gone high on Pritis. No whistle. Pearce is involved. Pritis goes again. Bullocking his way through heavy traffic. To Waters. To Kerr. Back to Pritis out of bounds. Kept it in. Want to see that at some point perhaps. Cassisi. Sea of players around the ball. It's a hot one at the moment.
Oh, good hard tackling. And the boundary umpire was just right behind
yeah, I think he was still in play. He jumped in the air.
Good positioning.
I was right here, boys. That was spot on. Good decision.
Tell you what. Just had a number of the play there. Probably about 4 handballs there.
Hurriedly onto the boot. Intelligent handball. Found its way to Corns. From O'Shea to Carlisle. Across their defensive goal square. They look to go up the corridor. Not a particularly good kick. Quinton Lynch got involved. Schofield on the rebound. West Coast. Eventually to Kerr. What can he do?
She was slow.
He got tackled again.
Looks a bit tired for Daniel Kerr.
He looks tired.
Easier up here though, boys. Kennedy, another good defensive back. Goes again. Good courage coming the other way from Carlisle. Pearce managed to maintain possession. Cox hurriedly to Shuey. Standing start. Logan, courage. Nat Nui got up high, couldn't take it. Back of the pack, easy goal. Embley, as you like.
Some great work, and Nick Nat-Nui hasn't taken that, but that's what you want in your contest or your forwards. Just crash the pack and get the ball to ground. On this occasion, he's gone over that. There's a massive leap. He's near jumped straight over that Port Adelaide defender in Tom Logan and spills over the back. Embley, would you believe it, he's by himself again and has kicked another goal. He's actually run from 40 metres away, Embley, and hasn't got an opponent. And a very handy contest from Nick Nat-Nui. Good goal for the West Coast.
Back-to-back goals for the Eagles. Embley with his first, on top of Nikoski's first, and they've got themselves an 18-point lead. What about the courage of Tommy Logan again?
Yeah,
he's a ripper.
He is a ripper.
That's the problem, though, boys. When you attract a second defender, which Nat Nui did because of his size. Left the player on the ground on his own.
Good point pickers. Brogan.
I don't think Logan had Embley. I was looking there. That wasn't his man, but you're right there, pickers. The other thing about Embley, to run in on that angle like he did with no one goal side of him. Matty Primacy pulling his hair out. I'm trying to think now. It looks like Kane Corns looks like he's gone to Embley.
Kane Corns has gone to him now, but you just wonder whether the damage is done. He's in really good nick. He had a good game last week too.
Looks like Paul Stewart's gone to Embley. So you just don't. I don't think. I tell you what. I reckon his opponents run away from him at the moment.
Leading possession winner on the ground, Andrew Embley, 18, make it 19, plus a goal, got it to Hearn, he'll thump it long, driving ball, Nikoski back of the pack, Logan needs to be courageous, couldn't get there, nice work done by Kennedy, could have handballed it over, needs to kick the goal, and he does exactly that.
Oh, and he's not preferred.
Can you believe it?
Well, they've hit back hard, Shorey.
That's his third goal, and he's kicked his 2 from crumbs in this quarter, which means he can do it below his knees too. But that was an amazing effort. Hearn, we know his penetration on the kick.
Now, Kennedy get this one off.
Well, Kennedy got involved then. I thought, will he recover? And the way he did it here, his non-preferred foot, I thought, yeah, maybe just lob it over or straighten up. Maybe didn't take enough time to straighten up, as I said, and he's finished it off beautifully. Oh, geez, he's in form. He was last year, and he's followed on this season.
Yep, good call, Tony Shaw. 3 goals this afternoon from Josh Kennedy, but I would assume that John Worsfold would like the scoreboard stuff, but it's the defensive work, Lynchy, that he's been doing that too.
And what you find with forward players, if you do the defensive things, the offensive work will look after itself.
Kerr, give him another couple of weeks and Daniel Kerr will be back to somewhere near his best, hopefully. Nikoski, almost a throw.
Port Adelaide supporters thought it definitely was.
Shepherd, down low. Nikoski again. Cox got in the way. Roden, can he inject himself? Kane Corns out to Brown. It's a high ball. Logan again camped underneath it. He wants to get hit in the head, Tommy Logan.
Well, he was in that last contest, though. Head over the ball with Daniel Kerr as well.
Pittard squeezes the kick to Westhoff, won closely by Brown illegally.
Well, Tommy Logan, we love his courage, but you've got to know, only if you can impact on the contest is it smart to go back like he is, because you'll be taken out of play and you've got players who are front and centre keeping their feet.
Yeah, it might be better to crumb at times rather than get knocked out.
Yeah. 30 minutes played of this second quarter, 6 goals to 4.
It's not a bad starting point, though, when you're coaching a player to get him to lessen his courage sometimes.
No doubt. Then it's just your decision-making.
Yeah. Shuey hopping up to Waters. Thought about going to the outer side. Decides to duck back. Shuey gets involved again. Got the kick away. Tight on the boundary line. Good bounce.
I'm not saying it's wrong, but
no, take your point.
You've got to have a decision-making process. If you keep running back and you're going to get knocked to the ground and your opponent stands up, that means you're out of the play if it spills.
Embley with 19 possessions goal. Paul Stewart 14 for Port Adelaide. Nat Nui over the top. Roden eventually goes to Gray. Got it from Thomas. Nice ball. Cap it off. Cap it off, Robbie Gray. You are a star.
Oh, he's on fire, Robbie Gray. He is. Some good clean hands out of the stoppage from Roden and set up Gray. Have a look at Roden's hands here. Great collect, strong body to at least have the strength of body to hold himself, to get off the ball, and Gray kicks his 4th goal. Very impressive, potent forward at the moment, Robbie Gray. They need some assistance up there, but that's encouraging after West Coast looked very good for the last 5 minutes. Once again, Port answer.
Played by injuries in 2010, 11 games, persistent hamstrings, re-signed June of last year. 4 goals this afternoon. Would be nice to have a little bit of support for Robbie Gray right now, Lynchy.
And the guy behind him, he's had a couple of injury problems as well, but they've only been ACLs, so he's only missed the month of footy. And that was
it's amazing, isn't
David Roden. It's incredible that he's had 2 ACLs in the last 2 seasons and missed a month of football, and he's still got that sort of mobility.
Oh, lovely.
Nat Nui, vertical leap. Quickly to Kennedy.
This bloke could be a star as well.
Yep. Wouldn't the Blues love to have him, but I suppose the compensation was a bloke called Judd.
Yeah, we've got to give something away to get a star.
It's a bit more than something. Lynch takes the mark, tight angle.
Throwing the glove off. Now, this is a very difficult pocket. Now, Pickers would be almost behind this one. Very difficult one because it will go right to left. But often you see with these shots will just float across to the left-hand side of goals.
Well, you're the goal scorer in this commentary team this afternoon, Lynchy.
She's only marginally, but it's got to be a penetrating kick, which Quinton Lynch has got.
He's got a goal post.
He's got a hammer at the right post.
Well, ride with the kick. Quinton Lynch.
He started left.
Started out there. Nat Nui got up.
He's tried to keep that in play.
He can jump.
He can jump.
Yeah, I reckon his best bet there was a helicopter. With all due respect. I don't think he was going to be able to get a goal.
Have a look at this, boys. You won't know these names. Blokes like Polly Farmer, Len Thompson, and you'll know Simon Madden. That was just brilliant ruck work.
You played against all of them, sure?
I played against the whole lot.
You sure reckon we're 12?
Nat Nui again. He's having a crack. Can't take the mark. Splits the pack.
Never heard of Polly Farmer.
No, I said you wouldn't have seen him, you idiot.
Kane, Chet Corns. Can't hear our certain conversation going on. He banged it forward. Shepherd to McGinnity. You like him, Shorey.
Yeah, I like the speed factor of McGinnity, and he plays on a player and still gets a lot of possessions.
Shuey, what to like about his game and his career. That is half-time here at AAMI Stadium. West Coast in control. 7-3-45 to Port Adelaide to the Eagles. 9-10-64. Robbie Gray with 4. And Kennedy for the Eagles with 3.
In the ribs.
Yep.
But this bloke just jumped straight over the top.
Third quarter underway. Port looking for their first win. West Coast have lost their last 9 at AAMI Stadium. Nat Nui stayed down, floating past Brogan. Nat Nui, quick kick to his centre-half forward, which is Cox. He gives up the chase. Trengove tracking the ball. Floats a handball back to Chaplin. Had to wait. Gathered it nicely to Paul Stewart. Works the boundary line out of sight. And scrubs the kick to half forward, the wing. That was a terrific pickup by Shannon Hearn on the half volley. Got it to McGinnity. He doesn't want to kick, nor does Hearn. A man that does like to kick is Nikoski from 55 out. Long range bomb is on the money.
Great start.
Wonderful kick. Nikoski's got 2.
I'll go back to one thing again. The kicking or disposal from Port Adelaide out of their defensive half has been atrocious. Now, maybe it's the press of the West Coast Eagles. That was just an easy kick into the centre corridor to try and find someone. Turnover, Hearn gets involved in the game. Nikoski, that is a magnificent kick from that distance, probably 55 metres out. But it hurts you all the time. We know turnovers inside forward 50 created by a good tackle. You can't do anything about that, but when you're coming out, you've got freedom. You've got to use the ball better.
Game high 25-point margin. Nikoski with 2 off the back of 2-5 last week. They've got problems early, Lindsay.
They certainly have. Nikoski only had the 4 disposals, but 2 very good goals. Sure, you touched on it. Turnovers are critical at the moment for Port Adelaide. They don't have options across half forward either, so they're kicking to spots where they're outnumbered.
Westhoff tapped it back to Kane Corns. Swinging on him was
nearly
Prittis.
holding the ball. Yeah, I thought the umpire was going to give that hold in the ball then. Kane Corns, there is no way known he could have got that over any orifice on his body at that stage.
This is tight, so West Coast will look to clear the stoppage here out into space.
8 Eagle players with multiple double possessions. Port Adelaide only the 3. Prittis is one of them. He's coming up to 17 possessions. Got it to McGinnity, to the runner in Rosa. Opening goal square, won't make the distance.
Well, they got away with one there, Port Adelaide. West Coast are just clearing centre-half forward, allowing a lot of space, and that'll be 50 metres, late contact against Nikoski.
And that was dangerous because the player coming the other way with Troy Chaplin, we saw an incident, a little bit different with Luke McFarlane and Jonathan Brown, but had no control here, Chaplin. Nikoski arriving late.
Well, that could have been nasty for both players, actually. It could have seen a ACL for Nikoski. Lucky the legs went up in the air.
Pittard thumps it inside 50 doing the roving. Nat Nui can jump high, can go down low. Schofield,
again, no options.
Undecided, deserves to be pinged for holding the ball. Advantage played on. Westhoff hurriedly just hoiked it forward. And Waters sees it over for Port Adelaide's opening score of the quarter. Quickly to reload to Brown.
We saw another case that we've been discussing. West Coast coming off half back on that occasion. They had no one to kick to 50 metres away, so they held the ball up.
But I don't care. Will Schofield nearly cost him a goal. Kick it down the line and go for the boundary line. Do something like that.
Waters might have cost the Eagles a goal. No, Brown saves the day. So does Glass. A rare kick from the captain. It's not a bad one. Get out of the danger zone. And Schofield just waited and intelligently got the handball into the path of Prittis. The support by Rosa linking up nicely now. Can go to Hearn. He can think about having a bounce. Doesn't. Bangs it to Q-stick. Floats forward and takes an easy mark.
I'll tell you what, you've got to give it to Matt.
He doesn't want to kick it. Does not want to kick it.
He goes to Cox. Logan almost got a disposal away. Cox mopped it up and pushes the kick.
They have done everything they can not to kick a goal on that occasion. The Q-stick, it was, 25 metres out in a 45-degree angle. Didn't want to kick it.
What? Why? Well, you're a full forward. You just go back and take it on. And then even Dean Cox, though, once a fumble, he had no pressure here, and he's missed that from 15 metres out.
Sensing, boys, that the wall's about to break right open here.
And they're in, it's critical time for Port Adelaide.
Logan just chips it up towards Boak. Tried to control it to himself, Ebert involved. That's better from David Roden. What about that 2 knee reconstructions? Can you believe it? Weaved his way through traffic. Brogan with courage. Met heavily by Brown. Dean Brogan is not good.
Kane
Corns to his brother. Or Chad Corns to his brother. Chad gets involved. This is better. Nice builder. Hitchcock will deliver it down the line with a poor kick. Poor kick. We might go boundary side. Liam Pickering, Dean Brogan, not a happy boy at the moment.
No, it was a big hit, as we can see here. Let's have a look. He's gone back with courage. The pack's come, really taking him out from the side. Now, he's still on his hands and knees. He's getting up. I think he'll just stagger off the ground and try and regain composure. Hopefully he's just winded, maybe a fraction concussed.
Yeah, and that's an accumulative effect of being knocked around for the first half as well, I think.
Yeah. He's been bashed all afternoon, not in a legal way, but he's been up against Cox and Nat Nui and Dean Brogan, a well-earned rest.
Well, he's had little support. I mean, well, he's back up, say, Trengrove. I mean, he's not a big, mature body. No. But
you have got Justin Westhoff in your forward line. They haven't got the ball down in their forward. Give him a run on ball. Go with 3 of them if you have to.
There's Westhoff.
To get numbers on it.
You might have to do the rucking now with Brogan off. Kerr, indiscriminate handball into the path of Adam Selwood. Tackled by his teammate to disguise it. This could be trouble.
Oh, you can't play
that. You cannot play that.
Had no hope whatsoever. That's a tough one. No, that's a ridiculous one, actually.
So, hold on, let's have a look.
Well, where's his prior opportunity?
He's trying to handball there, but
pushing them back.
How's he going to get that out?
Trengo.
Oh, boy.
Brings it inside, 50 Waters with a fly. And the big man doing the small man's work. Cox to Kerr.
Oh, he's tackled again.
Hending.
No, it wasn't a good handball to put Kerr under pressure. Nothing he could do about that one. But they've got to be very good going inside 50 here. Chad Corns will look to be, should look to be patient. I wouldn't think you'd blaze away here.
That's a terrible kick. The Sun right behind the ball. Good luck marking it. Cox will have a run at it, and he does nicely.
Well, there's no way. It was going to be absolute roll of the dice to get any sort of shot on goal on that occasion. Kick it straight to the big ruckman.
Preferred left there, Dean Cox.
Good news is, boys, Dean Brogan about to come back on, so just had the stuffing knocked out of him.
He'd be flat.
I still think they've got to lessen the load on him. No, you have got Daniel Stewart. You've got Jackson Trengo. They're tall players. Justin Westhoff. They're tall players. Give them 3 minutes each, or, you need some variation and not winning on ball at the moment.
Well, they do their best to open the door for Port Adelaide, but they've got time and numbers. Rosa.
Nice great pass.
Darling. It's like the way he presents. You've got Nat Nui down the line.
Presents well.
Lynch is long, but he decides to go short to Shuey.
When Nikoski's by himself in the 50, they've just got to
kick it half away, though.
Yeah, they work the ball through his next kick and get it over the top.
Shuey, short again. Not really going anywhere, West Coast, but they are on the scoreboard. 25-point lead. Now they turn it over. Chad Corns. He'll quickly move it on to Robbie Gray with 4 first half quarter goals.
Robbie Gray's
it's a great mark. Quickly moves it on. He's got a player forward of the ball. The mark is taken by Davenport and kicks the goal.
Turnover City there. Johnny Worthwhile will be pulling his hair out. Shuey just kicked the ball out wide, then went back in the corridor and asked for the kick to be returned to him. And here it is. I'm trying to pick up. Who was that? Rosa? Matty Rosa. Maybe you turned that up. Not too certain there, so I won't blame him. But that just kills you when you're running forward, control the ball. Robbie Gray, easy finish here for Davenport, who is the super sub today, replaced Dominic Cassisi. So they much need a goal to Port Adelaide.
Jason Davenport with his first goal of the afternoon. 19-point deficit with Adam Selwood coming off. And Davenport was a super sub coming on for Dom Cassisi, subbed off at half-time. Hearn back on. Great afternoon for football at Amy Stadium. Kerr, well tackled. Again, strong work by Brogan. Ball still alive. Thomas just off the knee. Davenport put his head down, tried to absorb the tackle and did. Broadbent. Fired it back to Kane Corns. Goes towards Robbie Gray. Schofield opens the door for Pearce. Can he bring it around? He can. Port Adelaide gone back to back.
Not a great moment there for
Will
Schofield. Didn't probably go back as hard as he might want to.
No, didn't go back.
No, he didn't go back at all.
Look at this. You're going to be better than that.
And it's cost them a goal. Pearce was in the right spot. The ball shouldn't be allowed to just bounce around in your forward 50 that close to goal. And that's a bad one on the West Coast. I think Woosha wouldn't be happy with that. It's not the way he played his football. Disappointing effort. And cost them a goal.
Starting to get busy, Daniel Pearce, 11 possessions and a goal. Consecutive goals to Port Adelaide. The margin now back to 13 points.
I will go in at bat a little bit for Schofield there,
did
boys.
Float, but
it got a shocking lot of wind got hold of that.
Yeah, but Liam, from up here,
it didn't look great.
He had a look at the contest before. That's different. You can miss it when you look straight up at the ball, but he looked at the contest for, I think you're being quite nice. Hey, there's a responsibility out there that you put your body on the line.
Calling, as he sees it, the Collingwood Premiership captain from 1990, Tony Shaw.
And no one likes to do it, but you've got to learn from it, and hopefully he will, that he won't do it again.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying, from ground level, that wind did get hold of that.
We know it's easier up here, but he looked at the contest instead of looking at the ball. I don't mind if he missed the ball when it's floating by looking at the ball.
Brogan and Cox renew hostilities. And Cox just throws Dean Brogan out of the contest. It's not getting any easier for the big Port Adelaide ruckman. Nice handball from Brown to Kerr. Shepherd. They release Embley. Possession number 21. And the Norm Smith medalist will thump it in the direction of Kennedy. Back at the pack. Even easy as you like. Can he capitalise? No.
Just as he went to take the kick, a bit of pressure from the front. But Embley, once again, getting his hand on the ball and being very dangerous. He's joined on 20 disposals with Prittis. So the two keys across the midfield are getting plenty of the ball for West Coast Eagles.
Carlisle entrusted with the responsibility to himself. To the outer side. Big leap from O'Shea. Took his teammate Brogan out. His day continues to go from bad to worse. McGinnity got it to Rosa. Good smother by both. Great desperation. More of that required.
He's gone. He's gone, Daniel Kerr. Just he pulled the ball. You just know now. Again, I say, if it's consistent, the umpires are down that line, I don't mind it.
May have a problem with Port Adelaide here. Again with Paul Stewart in the hands of the trainers. Brushes them off. Ball still in play. Hearn tracks the boundary line.
I was half tongue-in-cheek in the first quarter talking about every time Daniel Kerr got the ball, he got tackled. He has, though. I'd love to see his edits. I mean, it's been pressure situations, but he's been under enormous amount of pressure every time he goes near the ball today.
The loyal Port Adelaide supporters trying to get involved, get their team going forward again. Embley, another possession. Quick kick round the corner. Port Adelaide with numbers. There we go, Jackson Trengove. By Mollison to Kane Corns. Got plenty of time, plenty of sunshine on the outer half-back flank.
He's got plenty of numbers against him 50 metres from this kick.
Trengove takes it upon himself to get it moving forward.
Just about there.
Strong body, Hearn, isn't he? He's hard to shift off the ball.
He's only 23, Shannon Hearn. He looks
a bit
older than that.
Yeah, about 38.
Wouldn't have gone that far, Shorey.
He's powerful through the trunk.
He is.
Back of the pack again. Loose ball, Ebert had the ball, bobbled out. Kennedy, he's picked up by Irons. Wait. You can.
Well, we've got to be careful that we don't umpire out of the game. The bloke goes, gets the ball.
That's a very good point you make. Early fly, but a late one was by Brown. The early fly was Daniel Stewart.
A big switch on. Go again.
Schofield to Waters. McCoskey on his bike already. Sits the kick up.
Big contest
particularly good.
Big
to allow Chaplin into the contest. Glass finding a bit of it. Kerr. And they're finding Daniel Kerr.
There he goes. He's got one.
He had to get round the neck there because he was by himself holding the ball again.
You sleep well tonight, Daniel Kerr. Embley, well called. Lynchy, well spotted. And Kennedy presents. Poor kick from Embley. It's a chipping ball over the top. Thought it was for Kennedy. Instead, Rosa ran onto it. Kennedy's got some work against the smaller man in Pearce. Did well. Did very well. Got it back to Embley. He keeps it in. He was out. Feeds it back to Kennedy. Off a step. Dangerous ball. Port Adelaide defenders have to work. I don't think anybody...
Touch.
They did.
Yeah, just it's floated through. Embley's going to have to send out invites to get anyone to go near him.
It's the Andrew Embley wing.
Oh, well, he did very well because he held his ground and stayed out wide. And that's where he's getting used.
Roden. Davenport back to Roden. Take them on. He does. Thought about a bounce.
Now
great chase from Shepherd. Almost ran down Boat. Chad Corns onto the boot. Getting back there. Brown with courage. Waters decides to stay down. That was great play with Beau Waters realising his teammate was going to get there first.
Well, that's where Corns, he knew he had no one to go to, so he's bombed the ball up like a rugby league midfield bomb to allow his players time to get there.
Selwood had to wait. Rosa tracks it. Tracking him was Roden. Darling did well, fed a handball out. Glass, he's had a lot of possessions, Darren Glass. Which is great from the Eagles captain, Waters. High ball, Chaplin arrived late. Couldn't take it, McCoskey got rid of him. Dove over the top of the ball. Takes the ball and Thomas out of bounds.
Well, they missed the first one, didn't they?
Well, I think McCoskey was a little frustrated that he didn't get the free kick to start with, and then it was close to over the line, but they paid the free kick for in the back against McCoskey.
It's a 15-point ball game.
They're just hanging in there. That's the difference. 15 points. West Coast have not put them away. They're going to have their time in the sun, Port Adelaide, you think.
15 minutes gone. Off hands. Well, Dean Cox.
Off Dean Cox's
7'22", Lynch. He had a nice piece of it.
I reckon he's a little bit miffed, Dean Cox, saying, well, any danger of just playing one? Probably had a fair piece of that.
Absolutely no one else got their fingertips near it.
Oh, dear. Oh, well.
There you go, boundary side. Liam Pickering, Alistair Lynch, Tony Shaw and Wayne Swass. The Eagles by 15. Westhoff over the top of Pritis.
As you said, Shorey, they're only, 15 points in front. They've got to do something here, the West Coast. They've had plenty of the ball, dominated possession. But if they don't get the results on the scoreboard in the next 10 or 15 minutes, you can just see Port Adelaide coming home with a win and winning this.
Bone-jarring tackle from Thomas, who was sweating on that.
The other thing too, sometimes at Amy Park, the wind does pick up later in the day, so you could be turning a 2-goal breeze into about a 4.
I'll say it again, guys. I just wonder, 37 degrees last week, for a quarter and a half, with 2 men on the bench. What impact that for the Eagles? Here's a man that can impact the game, Pearce. He'll bang it low and long. Across the face of the goal square. Glass, another possession to Brown, who's been pretty impressive round the corner. That wasn't impressive. Davenport, can he make him pay? Got one, put him in the book for 2.
And you just get a nasty feeling this is going to go all sour for the West Coast Eagles. Some good work from Port Adelaide. Davenport off the substitute bench. He's been activated and he's just really needs to continue his good work. And Brown's kick, he was under a bit of pressure from Chad Corns, but he's dragged it back into the corridor, which is dangerous. I mean, chase the boundary line and maybe risk even going out in the full, but it'll be out in the full 50 or 60 metres away. And that was just another bad turnover. West Coast, a little bit of strife because they're just not scoring.
I might head boundary side. Pickers, 9-point deficit for Port Adelaide. Andrew Gaff, the young player for West Coast, still to be used as a sub.
They used him last week because of injury, but he'll probably get a run in the last quarter, I reckon, Swatter. Interesting, Davenport had probably the best game of his career against West Coast last year. I think he kicked 4 goals, had something like 35 possessions, so got the 3 Brownlow votes. So a pretty handy inclusion, even though you don't want to lose your captain. Davenport has got a good record against the West Coast.
I agree with you too, Liam, that every time Daniel Pearce gets the ball, and he lifted in that second quarter, he is the class act for Port Adelaide running with the ball.
Embley, the other end of the age spectrum, doing it well. Kerr squeezed a handball for Waters. Waters squeezed Westhoff into the turf.
A little unlucky, but it was in the back to Westhoff.
Some momentum now going Port Adelaide's way. High ball, Stewart tracking back. It's a poor kick, though.
It is a poor kick. It was well.
No, that was Schofield. Well done, Ned. Well done. He went back with the flight. Didn't give credit before where I was critical of him, but he did well then.
Embley, another possession coming up for 25. We're in possession winner on the ground. The best for Port Adelaide, 18, Kane Corns.
Rogan off for a well-deserved break.
Kennedy, sandwiched between 3. Back of the pack was Chaplin. Had a piece of it, couldn't take it. O'Shea. One of 3 debutants last week. Off a standing start. Carlisle, you heard the call, touched. Quick to reload. Great tackle. Good work by Westhoff.
Good pressure.
And now it's Port's turn. No, that was a lazy arm across Port Adelaide by Nat Nui.
Played on.
And now Roden, one way, then the other. The shimmy.
They've learnt.
The shrug. Breaks the tackle. He needs someone to come to him. And he gets it in the form of Pittard. Great smother, wonderful smother, great desperation. Waters, you wouldn't expect anything less. He looks up, he's got no one except for the ageing veteran. Embley has it, drops it, gathers it. Can he kick it? He can.
That is a sensational kick.
And you're not referring to the goal?
No, just the vision. I'm trying to pick up who was the player there. Roden put himself under a bit of pressure here, and Well, we know he's going to do it 3 or 4 times, but good pressure.
Waters was
by
the kick,
Waters
Jory.
in with that, and then Waters with the smother, then the follow-up, gets the handball. This is sensational play. That's match-winning play. I tell you what, they look back onto this, and then the vision to look the opposite side of the ground, kick the ball into Embley's passageway, and just finish like that. Beau Waters, well done.
Andrew Embley, well-earned rest, 2 goals, 26 possessions, but more importantly, it's a very handy 15-point lead as we work our way towards three-quarter time. Nat Nui, hard off the line, good work by Kane Corns, fed it to Broadbent. Pittard looks comfortable at the AFL level. Westhoff, see a bit more urgency from Justin. Roden.
Struggling to find 3 options forward here. Chad Corns' long lead.
That was good work corralling Roden.
Yeah, he did well, didn't he?
Had to go to Trengove, and he goes out wide. Knocked up by Pittard, who pushes forward off half-back, has 2 bounces. Great chase by Darling. Wonderful play. 2 young players at AFL level. And Jack Darling followed the lead set in the first quarter by Josh Kennedy.
Oh, they're waiting on the rebound.
Kerr to Kennedy. And I think Picker's made the mention of what that says to your teammates in the opening quarter when Kennedy chased down twice. Darling's followed that lead 2 quarters later.
That was great.
Quentin Lynch a long way from home. Banging on the boot. Nikoski tries to work Logan underneath the ball. He did that, but couldn't get possession. Well done, Nick Nat-Nui. Got it to Nikoski. That should be holding the ball.
Well,
it's not.
Threw it at the boot and missed it, I think.
Well, that is incorrect disposal, isn't it?
Would have thought so. It was a very adventurous attempt at kicking the ball away, but good tackle.
Tell you what, West Coast win this game. You've got to go back to Beau Waters' efforts, and then you're going to go back to Jack Darling.
Yep.
We know Josh Kennedy early in the first, but just sensational.
Westhoff works for Carlisle. He'll look up. He doesn't have a lot down the line.
I like this Westhoff onto the ball now. He's a talented player. He's a goal kicker. I'd be working forward on that Nui if I was Westhoff.
5.5 still to play this third quarter. Nice mark from the veteran.
Out the full, just went, carried a little bit far. Chad's not overly happy.
There's a surprise.
Is he ever?
He's been an angry man at times. Champion player.
And his own injury concerns, Beau Waters, but now vice-captain to
Good
Darren
hit.
Glass. Nice kick.
Hands on the back.
65.
Prentice wants the advantage. He takes it, goes to Kerr, feeds it off to Shuey, opens up the angle on his wrong side. Does he squeeze it through? He does.
Yeah.
Terrific finish.
Well, this has turned into an entertaining game. There's the defensive pressures from both teams, but the majority has been the West Coast Eagles has been very good, and they've discovered a few potent forwards through the midfield. Kerr's starting to run into the game. Beau Waters has been very good, and this man Shuey, he's had plenty of the ball. That's 19 disposals. He's kicked 1 goal too, so he knows where to get dangerous, and he's certainly been a handy player today, and will be a good player for the West Coast for a long time to come.
Yeah, let's go boundary side. Liam Pickering once again.
You asked about the substitution of Andrew Gaff. He's now just come onto the ground, so he's into the game. They've given the red jacket to the big Q stick, although he didn't really want to take it. I think he may have to put it on the big cop.
No one wants that red jacket.
21-point lead, and they may go forward again. Shuey involved, squeezed the kick to Nat Nui. Arcing circle was very good. Can the finish be equally good? No.
It would have been a great finish.
Well, there's a certain jacket you get for winning a very big golf tournament, and everybody wants it, but you don't want the red jacket in AFL.
You both have a few teammates that just wouldn't put it on. I've got a little teammate, and I'm prepared to say, Martin Pike wouldn't put it on. I can guarantee you he wouldn't put it on.
I think if you don't put it on, I think the
to.
umpire can pay a free kick against you. Is that right?
Has to be on.
He still wouldn't put it on.
Stuart Paul, outside his defensive 50 for the moment. Thomas, Trengove on his all fours. Ebert, set upon. Pack of players around the contest. Irons quickly under pressure onto the boot. Eagles with numbers. Daniel Stewart's got some work. Brown went without it. He now goes down hard on
Stewart. That's a basketball chest pass with 2 hands.
Martin, wouldn't he wear it, Martin? Let's see what he does here.
Double-handed throw.
Oh,
there you go.
Beautiful. It's worth a try. So Martin, it wouldn't have been a fashion statement or something. I just wouldn't want to. Why wouldn't he want to wear it?
would have been grumbling.
He'd be a little disgruntled that he came off.
Corns to fly. Chad got up high in the ageing legs. Westhoff stays down. Prittis gives it off to Shepherd. Floats a handball. Selwood, Adam. Got it to Cox. And he hurriedly heads down the line. Bounces just to the inside. One over throw.
Well, this is an intriguing game, isn't it?
It is.
You just look at the West Coast Eagles. They're, 22 points up now. It's still not enough if you're thinking that Port Adelaide are at their home ground with their record here, West Coast Eagles, but at the moment they no doubt deserve this lead.
It's not enough because it's 26 scoring shots to 14.
Contest here.
Rosa, deep. Nat Nui had it.
Tell you what, Daniel Kerr's coming out of the game, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's starting to work his way and actually find some space now. And he's had the 20 disposals. Most of those have been handballs because he's been in a lot of traffic.
8 contested possessions.
Where does Daniel Motlop fit into the plans of Port Adelaide this year, gents?
Don't know whether he does, to be honest.
Talent-wise, he'd be in this side the first pick, nearly in natural talent, but
there must be some major.
Well, the leadership group don't want him. They told him that he hasn't done the right thing, so they won't play him. The leadership group have made a decision that they won't play him until he does everything right, and if he doesn't want to, well, you move him on.
And there's a fair more starker on Quinton Lynch. Might have been subbed off for that.
Yeah, may have.
Dean Cox.
If that's the case, Lyndon Dunn's going to be in some strife.
He mightn't play again.
Cox will three-quarter kick it. Darling in front. Had a piece of it. Kerr, busy third quarter. Tracks the goal line, but O'Shea sees the safety of it.
Now they're getting their zone in place very early, West Coast, and Port Adelaide are struggling to exit this kick in. They're just going long to this spot every time. That was half a shank, wasn't it?
It was, I think.
You'll take it.
Was that flat? It was good.
And eventually Port work it out. Forward of the centre line now. The kick was from Boak. Thomas is there. Glass was there, and they went high on Chad.
Yeah, it did well. They were outnumbered 4-2.
And they push forward. Boak will bang it inside 50. Davenport's on his bike. Got a fingernail in it. Can he get boot to ball? He can.
She's been good.
He's keeping them in the game.
Well, Pickers was saying he was in the votes last time these two teams met. He's some chance of getting the votes again with 3 goals. He's been very good.
Game.
But they were outnumbered that contest, and you just felt that Port Adelaide had to create a stoppage, but they did better than that. Drew the free kick, and that was a very good kick out in front of Davenport, and that's his 3rd goal for this quarter, which is just outstanding play after coming off the substitute spot. And they're still in it, 18 points down.
Just under 3 minutes to play, and Jason Davenport, the super sub, replacing Dom Cassisi, has had the desired impact. 3 third-quarter goals. It's still an 18-point margin, but they're in the game. Brogan, the beneficiary of a bad bounce.
Oh, hold on, that went outside
complaining.
the circle.
Doesn't matter, no whistle. Up to Chad Corns, 2-3 bites, got it.
Wow, gee, I tell you what, everybody stopped, but well done to Chad Corns. Matter of fact, Chad Corns created that goal before the Boat when he got the ball over to Davenport by his contest in the middle of the ground. But everybody stopped in the centre circle, looking, the umpire saying, that's gone outside of the circle. You have to recall that. We'll have a look on the replay to see if he got it right.
Well, this would be a big goal. He does like a celebration, Chad Corns. He'd love to kick it. Can he get it back to an even 2-goal deficit from right on 50? Pulls it to the left-hand side. Still in play. Rosa. It's kept inboard. Well done. Hitchcock. He's arriving late. Westhoff's there. Shepherd as well for West Coast.
Uh-oh. No.
I think what you can see there, guys, is when that kick went up high, there is still a wind advantage.
Hold on, here's this bounce. Oh, that was just outside when he grabbed that ball, Brogan, and the umpire thought he took it on the line, but you've got to play the game out till the whistle goes, though. Sorry, Liam.
No, I was saying it did hold up that last one. So Port can get their act together and get their running game going. This game's well and truly on.
Nobby Gray's got a good act. He goes to Pittard. It's a dangerous ball. Top of the square. Chad Corns!
Oh, the old...
Simply wanted it.
He did, and he's a class act, and he's been in these contests, one-on-one contests for many years. The West Coast Eagles defender on that occasion, who was down there, I can't see who it is.
Schofield's on the
Schofield.
mark, I don't know that
well, he was in that contest, but he needed a support, a third-up jumper. There were players around. Just needed someone to jump up and kill the contest by knocking the ball over the line.
31-year-old, kicked 4 goals last year. And he's got his first for this year. Game on.
And that is a big contest in the context of this game, and we'll see from this stoppage, but it goes up to a one-on-one contest. I feel that he needed support in the air, and so the long kick come in. Corns is very good in these sort of situations, strong body, and there were enough West Coast Eagles players around to jump up and kill the contest for 9. But that is a very, very good mark and a very good goal, and some very happy Port Adelaide players out there.
In fact, that's his second goal. He did get one in the second quarter.
Yeah, good. Was it Jasper Pittard, the youngster into the game, and Corns has gone ballistic after he kicks the goal. The two variations of a bloke coming to the end of his career, and Jasper Pittard. Now, this one, that's right, that's play on.
Yep, Brogan and Cox.
Got to get out, got to get it out. Ooh. But, gee, that's great to see the reaction of that. A player, as I said, coming to the end of his career. He's been fantastic, yeah. Chad Corns, in the last 5 minutes.
He has been good.
231 games for Chad Corns, 2 games for Jasper Pittard. I like it.
He's very, very happy.
Not much of him.
Run around the shower to get wet.
Thomas.
Duck ahead.
Trouble.
Oh, that's good.
Prittis took it through the legs of Thomas. Roden's there to apply the brakes.
Well, clearance work is in favour of Port Adelaide, 13 to 8, although the tap-outs is much greatly in weight in favour of the West Coast Eagles, 36 to 11. So getting smashed in this situation, but the clearance work is going their way, and there you go, case in point.
Under a minute to go. Can they get one more before the three-quarter time break? Hitchcock involved. On his bike is Daniel Stewart. Good ball, Schofield. Popping up Waters. Feeds it to Hearn. Paul Stewart involved, arriving late and high was Chad Corns.
No doubt, he tried to force duty, don't argue, and didn't break the tackle. Good decision by the umpire.
Need to get it moving, 20 seconds, clock continues to tick.
You know what's happening though? I just wonder with the West Coast, you said it, Swatter, about last week, but if they break away, Port are breaking away from the packs a bit better in this last 5 minutes.
Brogan and Cox, Waters keeps it in, hurriedly onto the boot. Kennedy's got to go, arriving late was Chaplin. They desperately love to get another one. Time will beat them though. Gaff, the super sub, can run away.
Had a bounce.
Goes to Ebert. Well read by O'Shea, and that is it. Set up for a cracking fourth quarter at Amy Stadium.
Got a ball game.
Port Adelaide are in the game. 12-4-76 to the Eagles. Can they hang on? 12-16. 88. Don't go anywhere.
Port Adelaide only 2 goals down. West Coast might rue the time that they never put them away on the scoreboard.
Who wins?
I'm going to stick with West Coast.
Going with West Coast. Obviously, sure he's jumped ship from his original tip at the start of the game, though.
Selwood tried to get an early possession, but it goes to Roden. It's a high ball, hangs in the air. Waters attacked it. Wouldn't expect anything less. And the boat gets involved. He'll bring it around. Goes deep towards Davenport. Had it. He's already got 3.
Got it.
And it opens up. Kick, opening goal, across the face. Doesn't register. And that was Hitchcock.
He just spent it, Davenport, I think. He just had himself penciled in for his 4th goal. He didn't take possession at all.
Tell you what, one sign then. Just as the ball went out, 3 Port Adelaide players were metres ahead of the West Coast Eagles. Both got to the ball first. That's exactly what they needed to do. They don't want contested play here. They want the ball to be free-flowing.
Hearn will drive it long outside his defensive 50, but it comes back. Boat onto the boot. Goal square unguarded. Quick goal to Port Adelaide. Dream start.
Can I take that chip back?
Yeah, not a good start for the West Coast Eagles. A cracking start. Good spoil here is that Trengove there got his left arm in against Nat Nui and just propelled the ball back into the forward 50, and that's a very good shot at goal. And they're up and about. Their experienced players are starting to get their hands on the ball. Their youngsters are looking very good at the moment, and they're making the most of their opportunities. They go inside 50, and they're kicking their goals.
Well, if it wasn't Boat, it was going to be Hitchcock. That was a free ball, both running onto the ball with space.
4th in their best and fairest last year. 22 possessions on average in his 20 games. Led the club in loose ball gets. 2nd for tackles and inside 50s. And importantly, his first goal, 15 possessions.
And it was a good score from Stewart.
5-point ball game. Port Adelaide in search of their first win. West Coast desperate to arrest the 9-game losing streak against Port at Amy Stadium. The next couple of weeks are important for West Coast Lynchy. Sydney at Patterson Stadium, Hawthorn at Aurora before the bye.
Yeah, big few weeks, a massive 30 minutes for them now, though.
Can they hang on? 37 degrees last week in their 4-point win against the Kangaroos. Boat tried to play for the free kick, didn't get bought into it by umpire Mollison.
This is an area, though, guys, where they really need to get a bit more out of their midfield dominance. There's no point getting the tap down, which they've been getting all day if they're not getting the clearance. So Port Adelaide are right on top in that area, this first possession stuff.
Roden, a telling kick. Embley, can he be the man? It was in 2006, chipping ball. Can't keep it in. Chaplin wants it out of bounds on the full.
It's already over the line, I think. I'm with you, Pickers, and that's why I'm not a massive fan on Nick Naitanui being the ruck rover, because they're getting the hand on the ball. I don't want the ball in Nick Natanui's hands as a receiver to kick the ball into the forward 50, rather in the hands of this man, Daniel Kerr.
Yeah, sweating on him was Thomas. They closed the door. Westhoff involved. Ricocheted off the chest of Daniel Stewart. Schofield will seek the safety of the boundary line. No, he kicked it in. He did well. Got it to Hearn. Wheels around. Chaplin will work his way to the front on Gaff and takes a nice one.
Yeah, Nick Natanui's positioned himself as a loose man in defence now for that long kick down the line.
Kicked the last 3 goals of the game. Port Adelaide, Naitanui and Schofield almost collide.
Well, he had to get there, Naitanui, because that was exactly where Liam Pickering said. He had to read that a lot better. I'm a bit with you. I think it slows him down in midfield.
Yeah, but he can reach over and get the ball, but it's about distributing to the next line forward of field.
Well, now he's 20 metres from this kick inside the corridor, and he doesn't know where to run as a midfielder, as a normal on-baller. Now, the switch might be on to him here, but again, he just looks like a ruckman doing a ruckman job instead of being another midfielder.
Andrew Gaff, pick number 4 in last year's draft, 14 possession on debut last week against the Kangaroos, towards half forward. Chaplin, assessed his option. Casually, Carlisle, Logan, heavily bandaged.
Has he got a bandage in it? Where hasn't he got a bandage?
He'd have a sponsorship with the with one of the big companies, that's for sure. Matt Thomas was in the hands of the trainers just about 30 seconds ago after a heavy knock.
Boak straight on. Brogan ignored it quickly towards the wing. Kane Corns had the job on Embley all afternoon.
Well, the tackler was actually tackled then as well. But
it's a confusing rule.
Well, now I'm getting used to it. I think it's taken us 4 quarters to say, well, we know what they're doing.
Well, you know what they're going to do. He's going to play a free kick. The bloke's got the ball under him.
Boat dispossessed by Cox, taken down on the tackle without it.
There's one team that really picked up their intensity as Port Adelaide. They're running.
No doubt.
And I guess that's what happens when you don't put size to the sword, which they haven't been able to do West Coast, just purely because they've missed a lot of opportunities. All of a sudden there's a run on, and the running team, with everything behind them momentum-wise, is Port Adelaide.
It becomes draining when you continually drive the ball forward and you're not getting the reward for effort on the scoreboard. It's energy sapping.
28 scoring shots to 18. They kicked 3 goals, 7 in the opening term, West Coast. They led by 10, 19 at half-time, 8 at three-quarter time. Can they hang on? Not if Daniel Pearce has something to do with it. He gets through 3. Westhoff intelligently into the path of Irons. Thought he might have been taken high. Umpire didn't. Now it could be holding the ball. No.
Gee, that's smart from Westhoff. He hasn't had a great day, but just to tap the ball on awareness that he was going to be tackled if he did grab it.
And he's running with Naitanui now, so he's the other ruck rover.
Gee, I'd be going forward. Just go and park yourself inside 50 against Naitanui.
Eagles by 5 points. Shuey, another possession. Kennedy will launch himself in front. Doesn't have to.
And that is
Cox is on the midfield.
Cox
well picked up, Shuey. Shuey can whip by.
Long to Dark.
Floats the handball to Shuey. Watch out for Thomas. Almost shut the door. Got it to Selwood. Feeds it to Gaff. Can the number 4 pick from last year's draft cap it off? Doesn't have to, because Shuey says, I'll do it myself.
Well, that was great play by Dean Cox. Dean Cox, Shuey's kicked his second goal, but what he did, he just said, I'm going away from this contest. Got in the centre corridor. They picked him up and found him. Great lobbed handball into Shuey's mark, and he kept going on and playing on and received this handball on the end. That is fantastic running by Shuey on that occasion. Luke Shuey to finish with his second goal. And again, that really forces the issue with Port Adelaide now.
Does good finish under pressure. He had a tackler and he had a player in front of him as well.
Ethic.
So great work from Shuey.
Steady in goal. It's his second, Luke Shuey. He's been busy.
That's what we were talking about, Westhoff and Naitanui. Exactly what Cox did. Got in a really dangerous position, got used, as Naitanui goes to full forward now.
I like that better.
Back out to an 11-point lead.
Well, that's where you bomb the ball on top of his head.
Shark by Prittis to Gaff. The Eagles super sub is having an impact. Now, the handball wasn't particularly good. Embley under pressure.
Talk about the super subs. Davenport come on, started the third quarter, kicked 3 goals. Gaff now, who is an elite runner, exactly the sort of player West Coast need to push this game out. Good use of it by both teams, really.
Yeah, good point, Pickers, because last night when Jack Rewalt went off, Bradley Helbig was good for the Tigers as well.
I guess you expose yourself if you do get an injury now that you're one rotation short, but for 23, 24 minutes in a quarter, you should be able to at least cover it with 3 on the bench.
Yeah, you're close enough just to roll the fresh player in.
I think it shows, though, Pickers, the time of using, I think it's only been used once as a sub, as a ruckman being used as a substitute. It won't happen.
No, it won't happen again.
Daniel Kerr on the West Coast bench. Shuey, kick was smothered. Brogan continues to work tirelessly all afternoon. 1 out against Nat Nui and Cox, and 11 other bounce.
What did you make of John Worsfold at 3/4 time, boys?
Well, he just said they had to work hard. They hadn't put him away. He was probably a realist.
I think he's pretty, but I think he's deep down pretty happy with what they're dishing up at the moment.
Yeah. Yep. Bouncing ball towards Robbie Gray. Got 3 in the opening half. Controls the ball. Takes a couple with him. Waiter numbers against him. Shepherd goes to ground. Cox, what about the pickup from the big unit? Goes to Waters. They're out the back door now.
He'll carry that.
And Ebert can run.
Take the 50 and kick a goal.
Have a couple. 60 to 55. He sees him and he delivers to him.
Well done, Dean Cox.
Dean Cox is a class act because he finds space and he's so clean with his hands.
The other one was Beau Waters. Beau Waters, his peripheral vision, we saw him set up a goal in the third quarter against when they were under the pump. That time just coming out, so he could have bombed it coming out of halfback, and just that little chip kick into the middle, and it just cut Port Adelaide to pieces.
Well, he's had an immediate impact, and this will be the exclamation mark. Andrew Gaff, the #1 pick for West Coast, hits the timber.
Disappointing. Once again.
Just can't put them away, Lynchy.
No, still 30 shots to 18. Just giving Port Adelaide a sniff.
Can find a fair bit of the ball, Andrew Gaff, last year, I think a couple of occasions. 40+ possessions in the Under-18 Championship.
Oh, he can play.
For Victorian team, nice mark by Daniel Stewart. Who are the players, Shorey, that need to really get busy with the ball for Port Adelaide?
Oh, you've got to get in your class players. Pearce is one. Boak, I think, has started well, but Pearce is the player in Roden.
Chad Corns has got a fly on Dean Cox. Just gently chopped the arm. Shepherd put his head down, but it comes out to Hitchcock. Goes to Boak. The boy that the gents talked about. Bouncing ball. Irons. Gee, can he cap it off?
Oh, it's close.
Fading late. He's working back, but he can't. To behind to Jared Irons.
Yeah, Travis Boak's having a go. He's been fantastic.
You called it there, Swatter. Chad Corns, borderline chop of the arms, but he made a contest. Didn't allow just the easy mark to the West Coast Eagles, so risked giving away the free kick to cause the spillage and generate another shot at goal.
Goes up to Prittis. Eventually work it free. Goes to Brown. He's been pretty good.
Do you know what I reckon could be a bit of an X factor here for Port Adelaide is Westhoff. Starts up the ground. If he can push forward and get dangerous in their forward line, he could be that focal point that they're really missing.
He's coming off the ground now, getting Brogan back on.
Kane Corns through traffic to Broadbent to absorb the tackle of Shepherd.
The Westhoff get a freshen up, allow Brogan to crash in for the next 5 or 10 minutes. I'm sure Westhoff will play a key role late in the game.
Well, they've got to try something here, Port, because this has been the margin pretty much all day.
Got out to a game-high 25-point lead at Koski's first goal. Second goal, I should say, to open up the third quarter. Kerr have liked his performance as the game's gone on. Sold the dummy to Chaplin.
Beautiful.
Drew the player. Gaff gets onto the end of it again. Has his normal left foot shut down to Embley. He'll wheel around. Arc it high. Kennedy sitting under Tommy Logan. And he saves the day for the moment.
You know he's going to keep his head up.
Yeah, it just didn't get purchase on the ball. It went straight up in the air. It didn't give Kennedy any hope whatsoever.
Tringo. Here we are.
Well, they've got numbers here over the top to Boat.
Got someone forward of the ball, and that is Boat. Well called, Lynchy, but well shut down by Shuey. Brilliant play. Gathers his loose ball on his non-preferred. Goes in the direction of Nat Nui.
Who's exhausted.
Looks a bit tired. Kept it in. He's out.
Absolutely out on his feet, Nick Natanui. First game back after a couple of weeks on the sidelines.
That looked like a baby giraffe then, didn't it? Just
He was
going
gone.
down for a drink.
Cooked. The big fella just having a spell.
Is he what?
Up at full forward. Well, didn't want the ball then.
Brogan into the back of Cox.
Here he goes.
Roden, what can he inject into the game? Bit of magic.
Oh, well done.
Almost,
well done.
but got it into the path of Broadbent.
Yeah,
He's got
running with it.
space and room to move. Ran his full measure and thumps it towards Gray. One out with Schofield. Gray got rid of him. Needs to finish off with some good work against enormous pressure. Can't. Way to numbers, but it's still alive. Port Adelaide have the numbers themselves. Handball back from Irons to Broadbent. Will load up from 52. Cross the face of goal. Daniel Stewart. Nice mark.
Great hands.
And Mitch Brown's got a problem.
Yeah, Mitch Brown sort of looked to reach towards his knee. Hopefully it's just his quad, but he went down pretty hard. That's a good mark in traffic. It was 1-on-2 and good reach. He's been good in this quarter. He had a couple of very important spoils, and that's a very handy mark.
I reckon Matty Broadbent had a look then. If we watch this kick into the forward 50 after he has a shot, there was no doubt I reckon he looked to say, here's my target, I'm going to put it in that area.
Well, Daniel Stewart yet to kick a goal in 2011. Got 12 in his debut year last year. It is a big kick, and it's a good kick. Port Adelaide are not done with yet at Amy Stadium.
Oh, well done to Matty Broadbent. I think he set it up a couple of times. Let's have a look. The ruck work, Brogan, tap out, Roden. Did well to keep his body and keep his feet here, because its spillage here was the thing that split West Coast apart. And here it is. Corns keeps it alive. Out to Broadbent. Now just see if he looked up. Here it is. Did he look? Sees, comes back inside. I reckon he had two looks then.
Yeah, he knew
that
where
is
he was
a very
kicking
good kick to position for his teammate, but still a magnificent mark.
Under fair pressure.
At the same time as Stewart.
1-on-3.
First goal of the afternoon because of that telling mark right there for Daniel Stewart, his first goal.
When you got that sort of reach playing up forward, they're the big marks that you're going to have to take. You have to stand up at this stage of the game, and he certainly did.
2-1 in this final term. Port Adelaide have kicked 4 of the last 5 goals. It's a 5-point deficit. Okay, West Coast, Shorey. Who's the key player right now?
Oh, look, I just think it's a collective thing. I don't know about having a key player. They've done everything in their power except kick straight, so...
Got to get some clearance work. I think Prittis and Kerr are going to be keys late. Got to get the ball out of this situation and hit targets across half forward.
Just as Ebert did. Into the path of Selwood. Brought to ground by desperate Thomas. Pleading for holding the ball. It's not coming out. And it won.
Well, like you've said all game, whether that last week takes it out of him with the scoreboard as it is, and no way, no, this is a free kick. He, matter of fact, did the right thing by rolling onto his back.
Cox did well. Shark by Broadbent is starting to get some important possession.
And again, Cox got the tap out, but Port Adelaide got the clearance.
Leading possession winners on the ground. Andrew Embley with 29, 26 for Matt Prittis. And the best for Port Adelaide, 23 to Kane Corns, who's running with Andrew Embley now. Brogan goes to ground in the process, takes Cox down with him. Kerr did well.
Hands.
Found a target, McGinnity, who in turn got it to Ebert. Works the boundary line. Up towards Darling. Show of strength with Carlisle. Got rid of him. Nikoski. Darling couldn't get rid of Thomas. That's 2 desperate acts from Matt Thomas. Great play. Port Adelaide looked to tie it up. And the Mo just done it.
Gee, it was a great play by Matty Thomas. He hasn't had a great day today. Had a sensational day last week, but
he's worked hard.
Yeah, he has worked hard, and that's exactly what he had to do then. That was a massive turnover for a stop play here.
Can the Eagles shark a goal? Nat Nui tries to get it to somebody. Darling goes down low. Thomas involved again. Bit of bouncing handball to Westhoff. Kane Corns, good work by Darling. They keep it alive. Beautiful tackle by Selwood. Darling goes again. Tackle by his opposite number 27.
High contact as a shot at goal for West Coast. And that's Darling.
Yep.
That was a good tackle from him earlier. And he's got high contact in this situation.
Picker's boundary side. The wind's still strong that end.
It is. It's going to be a difficult spot to kick unless he can get on the inside of his boot and get it to go left to right, which near impossible.
Well, that floater that you were talking about, maybe the Tony Shaw type floater.
Well, they do sell them over here, the pipe floaters, and you'll need to just find one, but hitting it in a normal kicking action where you get that swing from right to left is going to be nearly impossible.
Only one bloke that I know could do it. You played with him.
Who's that?
Jason Ackermanis to
yeah.
fade the ball. Can Jack Darling fade the ball? No. He draws it.
I could fade the ball, just had no idea when I was going to fade it.
That's the thing. The one player I reckon for the West Coast who could be the one that stands up and win them the game is Kennedy. He was very good early. He's kicked 3 goals, had a good game. But he's the one key forward, I reckon, for the West Coast Eagles. And if you get it in quick enough to him, he can be a real danger.
High ball from Carlisle. Brogan, the spoil from Natanui. Ebert got it to Natanui.
Yeah,
2 taps of
well
it, did
done.
well. Intelligent from Selwood. Adam Prittis got it into the path. Good desperation showed by Pearce. Flung it out through the legs. Prittis feeds a handball to McGinnity. Shorey's favourite player. Round the corner, top of the goal square. Bouncing ball behind.
Big point.
Yeah, good work from Natanui just to keep the ball with that forward momentum. It was a contested ball. He just kept it scrubbing forward, generated the shot. So that was good work.
Like another one of those points, Shorey.
Yes. Oh, had to compete.
Yeah.
Oh, that was... They needed to compete there. Even looked like he was going to take an unmanned mark, but Westhoff was held by the hand off the contest.
Yeah, Port Adelaide don't want to get forced into kicking down the line here. Their game is built on run. Down the line's not going to help. It's going to help West Coast.
There wasn't a lot of run, Piggers, which forces the kick long. You're rightly called, but that's a good mark taken by
That's if your defence
Stewart.
isn't good enough.
They're out the door here. Boat, Corral, got a handball to Chad. Corns needed to gather it. It was a hard handball, though. Good pressure. Keeps it alive. Hitchcock over the top of Natanui. Rose is there in support. He's taken down the strong tackle. And we'll have a bounce down left half forward flank for Port Adelaide with just under 8 to play.
Gee, Woosha would be filthy about how someone can take a chest mark with a pack of about 6 players in centre wing. It was a long, high kick. So many players got to the contest, but only one actually read the ball.
Not sure about the disposal. Kane Corns onto the boot. It's inside 50 now. What can Port Adelaide do? Brilliant
Good
pick up
hands.
by Gaff. Young man, game number 2, showed a lot of experience. They are out, the Eagles now.
Oh, here they go, Nikoski.
And eventually, nice work by Darling. Nikoski on his
he's
bike, but it was
missed
a
it.
poor kick. Courage from both players. Involved was Trengove. He's on the ground, slow to get up. Ball on the outer wing. Great courage by 2 players there. Trengove one.
Is it Embley?
And the other one is Andrew Embley. Well done, Lynchy.
And here's, I think, have a look at...
Oh, well done.
Great work from Embley.
We've got another player on the outer wing.
Hurt his knee here with his contact, so hopefully it's an impact injury where he's got a corky or something. But
Good courage, though. Go back with the flight of the ball like that.
Yeah,
That is Jasper Pittard. That is sad news for Jasper Pittard. Problem with his right leg. And,
hopefully
also
nothing serious.
They're going to be one short if they don't whack him on a stretcher, lads.
And just remembering that last act prior to Jasper Pittard being involved Jackson Trengove, and he's still in the hands of trainers at half-back for Port Adelaide.
With another sore knee.
That's not what they need.
Shocking defence, the last 2 marking contests for West Coast.
Westhoff.
Big test here under the
They'll
long.
bang it in. Davenport with a big spoil. Didn't get any meterage. Natanui to Pearce. Can he light up Amy Stadium? No, it's across the face of goal, out of bounds on the full. We'll take this opportunity. Boundary side Pickers.
Just going to keep an eye on young Pittard here. He's just come off the ground. It's going to have to be assessed, obviously, but it's 1 runner less, and he's been a pretty good player today.
I think they took the risk not to go the stretcher because that's 20 minutes, Liam. So
And they subbed.
Yeah,
You're right.
Strong
Good
mark
mark.
by Ebert.
Gee, in a close game, you don't want to be play on where you've got 1 short and 1 crooked centre pack.
7-point lead, West Coast, with just over 6.5 to play.
Now they've got to go down the line.
Yep. And Mikoski, Selwood, Trengove, back into it. Thomas has worked tirelessly all afternoon. Flung in the tackle by Prittis.
Which way is this going to go?
Gee, I tell you what, he was rusty early, but his second half has been fantastic, Daniel Kerr. Just didn't get the speed of the game. Was caught in tackles very early, and you just know he's poised, gets him through.
Kennedy. Got up, couldn't take it. Shuey.
Oh,
An
good,
important
real
possession.
quick
Selwood.
kick.
Darling, what does he do? Darling dropping the ball. No. Play onto the call. Selwood.
Embley.
Tough in the clinches. Good smother off the boot. And Nikoski. It's alive. Darling.
Embley.
Handball to his fellow debutant last week.
Embley.
Goes to Embley. And that could be the game-winning goal.
Oh, the wily old fox.
Who's on him?
He just scouted around the outside. Some great work in congestion from his teammates, but Embley just ended up with his 3rd goal from the goal square because
there
of
he is
this.
in the background.
Work rate, here. Everyone put their head over the ball. Darling was involved. Young Gaff was out the back as well, and that's a handy goal. And here's the reaction of Port Adelaide. They should be disappointed because they've been right in this game. Game not over yet. Still plenty of time left. They trail by 13 points.
3 kicks to win the game, but that man right there, game number 2, involved with his other fellow debutant from last week, Jack Darling. What about the composure to set up the goal to Embley?
Well, Embley just knew, let me get forward to the contest, and if we go our way, we go our way. It's not going to... What about Jasper Pittard? I reckon he's got to show a bit more emotion.
He's been good.
He's wrecked the drinks bottle.
And have the Eagles been good enough to hang on at a venue they haven't had a nice recent record? 9 consecutive losses against Port Adelaide. They lead by 13 points. The kick is inside 50. It's a ground level ball. Pearce. He's shut down. Irons round the corner. Davenport tracks it. Can he touch it? He doesn't have to.
Oh, that is great shepherd.
They will not lie down.
That's some great shepherding work on the goal line. I find it amazing that the West Coast Eagles defender couldn't get his hand on it, but some nice work here. Pearce ducked around one, ended up got a quick handball out.
Snap.
That's a great snap just here on the goal line. Some good work from Davenport just to put his body in the road, protect the drop zone, allow the ball to bounce through. And it's absolutely game on with 5.5 minutes remaining.
Well, you sing the praises of West Coast 2 young players in Gaff and Darling. You go up the other end, and Jared Irons, who kicked 2 goals in the 3rd quarter against the Pies, has got an important goal as well.
Yeah, he showed some good signs last week as well. Dangerous forward.
And they got the last clearance again, boys. It's so important getting the centre clearance.
Yeah.
Roden's got his hands on a bit this quarter. Pearce is having an influence as well, and so is Poke.
5:22 to play. 7-point lead to West Coast.
So they haven't been rewarded with shots at goal, and they haven't been rewarded for a ruck dominance either. Away they go again.
Roden to Pearce. Important plays in the 4th quarter. It'll be a bouncing ball in front of Shepherd. Davenport wanted it, attacked it, got it, laid it off.
Fumble.
But unfortunately, teammates weren't up to it at the moment. Look out, Waters run down from behind by Broadbent. Umpire says he toe poked it off his knee. Eagles are out. Gaff can't keep it in.
No, the umpire got that right. He just got it. Gee, I hope he didn't hurt himself. He's in the arms of the Bo Waters. He's holding his elbow. But you can just see this will hit his foot. There it is. So that is an awkward fall. Hope he hasn't done something with his elbow, like a dislocated elbow. I've been there, done that. They hurt.
He has had elbow problems in the past.
Yes.
Reagan with a big tackle.
It was a big one, wasn't it? If that didn't hit the foot, goes the other way, and it's...
Exactly, a turnover 60 metres out from goal.
It's not good. He's still holding that elbow, as we can see.
They're working so hard, Port Adelaide, at the moment, boys. 27 more tackles than West Coast.
Gaff
He's been good this
has
quarter.
been very good. Started as the sub, along with Davenport for Port Adelaide. Kennedy, the man that Picker spoke about. Nikoski likes it from long range. That proved too difficult.
Well, another missed opportunity, though. Had to go to the top of the goal square. Nat Nui was there against Tom Logan, so he had a massive size advantage.
Really?
Or actually wasn't. It was Logan's just gone to pick up Nat Nui.
I think this is a better kick for West Coast than what it would have been if it's a point.
He's coming off
Yeah, it
Bo
doesn't
Waters.
look good, does it?
No, Mitch Brown will replace him. It's a 7-point lead to West Coast. Hanging on grimly. Roden trying to will his team forward. Nice work by Broadbent. Pearce dancing, moving and grooving along the boundary line. Good work by Davenport. No, that's Stuart Paul. Get it up to the outer wing.
Oh, there's in the
Port Adelaide free kick.
Chaplin's forward, and they haven't picked him up yet.
Just over 4 to go. Can Port Adelaide come from behind and deliver the knockout punch?
Here he is. Oh, didn't carry.
Mark taken by Glass, using all of his experience, the veteran captain.
And they need to score another goal, Glass. The West Coast Eagles.
Towards Ebert. Got in the path of Pearce. Paul Stewart tackled. Still got the kick away. Shepherd needs to be clean and is. Underground handball to Prittis. Feeds one down the line. Gaff another possession. McGinnity on his all fours. Gaff will bang it towards Kennedy. Getting back Trengo. Good effort. He's up. He's off. He can have a bounce. He senses this is a game-winning goal. 48 metres. Kennedy misses.
Well, there's that point. I said that one about out of bounds. At least you can hem the side in there now. Can they play on quick Port? And they have, and they've got space. And this is what I mean about giving away that point.
Must roll the dice now, Port Adelaide. The game is there, but they cannot be afford to be held up. This is a win for West Coast.
No doubt. That had to be played on. That had to be just kicked to a contest down the wing.
Carlock, some urgency at a pally.
Well, only 3 minutes to go. They absolutely need 2 goals to win this.
Chaplin got rid of Glass, Irons, who's got a goal in this fourth quarter. Chaplin did well, onto the boot, but numbers favouring West Coast. Shepherd, Will Shepherd, eventually Cox. It's a high ball, hangs in the air. Nikoski, one out, works his way to the front, almost took the mark. Didn't matter, getting at his own loose ball. The left footer, piercing kick. Nat Nui over the top of him. Kennedy in the tightest pocket of AFL grounds. He'll work his magic on the boundary line towards Gaff. One out, bouncing ball. Can he get boot to it? No, he can't. Tracked closely by Stewart, support by Brogan. Out of bounds.
At an airy.
2.5 to play. It's in West Coast forward 50, and they lead by 8 points.
Nat Nui dangerous at these stop plays.
It would be a huge win for the West Coast Eagles,
there
coming off a 4-point win against the Roos. Shuey has done the job and capped off a great afternoon.
Well, Nat Nui to Shuey, I know it might rhyme, but gee, it was fantastic. 3 goals. Look at this ruck work. As I said, before this was thrown, Nat Nui's always dangerous in these areas just because he's you couldn't get a better tap. That was just sensational, a set play. The teammate knew what was going to happen. Nat Nui knew where he had to drop the ball. That is the art of ruck work at its best. Shuey's been a fantastic player for West Coast, kicking his 3rd goal.
Cardinal sin and a stoppage to leave the back door open.
The back door, the corridor was free. Great.
They've had enough.
Oh, they've packed up. They're off.
Yep.
Port Adelaide supporters, I think it's all over.
Certainly looks that way. West Coast lead by 14 points. They got the job done. 37 degrees last week against the Kangaroos. They won by 4 points. They came into this game having lost their last 9 against Port Adelaide at AAMI Stadium. They will sit comfortably in the top 8, 2 wins from 2 games.
They've worked well as a team today. Yep. I mean, they've just absolutely stuck together.
Rosa had a fresh airy. Davenport, wonderful smother from Schofield. Broadbent mops up, kicks on the way, wide.
When their defensive pressures early, they've slaughtered the ball inside 50, really. The execution when they generate shots at goal has been poor, but the fact that they've supported each other and worked extremely well together is why they've got over the line.
You have 35 shots at goal. I still think you're going to kick enough goals to win a lot of games, and that's what's happening.
So Nat Nui, a late contender for the mark of the year. No. Gray has been busy. A bit quieter in the second half, and that's off the side of the ball.
They've stood up though, Port. They've challenged. They've been given opportunities to challenge, and they continue to find a way to stay in the game. Just in the end, not enough winners in the forward half.
They've done this without their leading goal scorer, an All-Australian from last year, Mark LeCras.
Yep.
A long-term groin injury. Outside 50, it's a nice mark. It's a very good mark, in fact, from Daniel Stewart. He's taken a couple in this quarter. Quick to play on. Davenport, West off, over the back of Rosa.
Just a little bit deep, that one. It's either a shot at goal or it's got to go to sort of 12 to 15 metres out.
I'd like to see Daniel Stewart get a run round on the ball. I think he's got enough athleticism, be a very dangerous ruckman. And you know he goes forward and takes a grab like that. Give him 5 to 7 minutes. You've got to test him out and see what he can do. But, gee, he's got some potential.
Hearn, thumping ball towards Cox.
He's been good, this man.
Just put the hand up. 9'12", take a mark.
No cramp. No cramp today.
I know Brogan's been one out, but gee, I thought Dean Cox's first quarter probably got this side on the road.
Yeah.
Up towards Nat Nui, the young protege. And you need to select his option wisely, and he does to Schofield.
Yeah, they'll just flick it wide here. You know, just a little bit slow on the switch.
Under a minute to go, West Coast. Their first win for a very long time, dating back to round 11, 1998, and they'll enjoy it. 2-0 at the end of round 2 for the Eagles. Perfect start for John Worsfold. They need to show significant improvement for him to be given another contract. And it may just happen. Shuey, another possession, wobbling, bouncing ball. Logan, still time for one more. Embley has had a great day to remember, the old wily veteran. Can he get another one? Opens up the angle, brings it back around and does it nicely. He's got 4.
He has got 4, but with respect, Swatter, if you were given that much space out there, you'd still rack up 30 possessions and kick 4 goals. He's been very good, Andrew Embley, but no one's gone near him.
He can find space in the telephone box, I'm sure. He's just run on there. He's had that wing to himself and got behind the ball in the forward line probably 3 times to get. How many goals did he kick there? He kicked 4. The 3 goals were from 3 crumbs and 1 mark, and they were all inside the 10-metre square. Unbelievable.
He's covered a fair bit of territory, and he has been an important factor today. There's no doubt in that. Good start to the season. Wins in round 1 and 2 for the West Coast Eagles, and plenty to like about some of their youngsters out there as well.
Taken with pick number 57 in the 1998 National Draft, Andrew Embley from Swan Districts. He's got 4 and had a lot of it this afternoon. Boat. Well, there's a few loyal West Coast supporters, and they're trying to get their club song going. Gaff has been going since he's come on the ground. Mark taken by Selwood. It's an important win. Tough conditions last week. Trying game against the Kangaroos. They got it done. And they've got it done for the first time in 10 attempts at Amy Stadium. West Coast win 16-20, 1-16. Too good for Port Adelaide. 15 goals, 8-98.
Yeah, courageous win for the West Coast Eagles. They were up against it. Their star goal kicker was out last week with the adductor strain, and they've had a terrible record here at Amy Stadium over a long period of time, and they've just fronted up. They've had a good crack. They've worked well together as a team. Gave Port Adelaide a chance by just missing kicking 20 behinds, but in the end they were just too good. They found plenty of goals through their small players, and Embley was outstanding.
They have time for a quick break. West Coast 2 wins, an 18-point victory against Port Adelaide from Amy Stadium.